Alas, poor Darwin, it seems the hour has come again. Happy Halloween, everyone, and welcome back once again to Gary's Mod. And I am so excited to be back here once again. All here with our buddies, the decorations are up, the lights are dimmed, and we are ready to celebrate the pinnacle of spooky season, Halloween. Now, don't worry, we had some glitches last year, but I've taken the necessary precautions. We've thrown up some barricades to keep the ghost girls out. Ugu is stationed in the hall, making sure the psychos with axes don't get in. Although somehow I haven't had the foresight to simply not invite them, maybe I feel like it's just not Halloween otherwise. I suppose here is where I give a condensed version of the same speech I give every year, because I always feel it's worth pointing out that while this is a marathon, it's not intended to be a big deal, just as I don't really consider Halloween to be a big deal. Spooky season is all about the creepy and comfy, and while it certainly feels right in the autumn, it's something you can do at any time. What Halloween is to me is an excuse to do it all together, for everyone to get into the spirit all at once, and so that's what I try to do here. It's just a collection of all those little maps that I wouldn't normally have time for, or would be too short for their own videos, and just do them all at once in one big creepy and comfy leap. It's about setting up the decorations, hanging out with some friends, and just indulging in all of this in its purest, most concentrated form. And with all the kids away, Liberty and Percy and Justice and Horror Baby and Eerie and all the others I'm probably forgetting about. How many kids do I have at this point? I don't know. I think there's a reason why so many horror specials come in the form of anthologies. And it's because it allows us to not take these things so seriously. No matter what horrors we bear witness to, no matter what we see or hear, it's just a constantly moving bag of tricks and treats. Something where we can always move from one scare to the next and never really dwell on anything for too long. Never think about the horrifying implications. To me, the holiday is associated with a chorus of screams, followed by a bunch of excited giggles. It's the aesthetics of horror, rather than necessarily horror itself in its concentrated form. That's what makes it so enjoyable, and that's what makes it so enjoyable for all ages. It really can be anything you make of it. It's just united by the common theme of the joy we get from getting a start. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Happy Halloween, everyone, 2025. Oh no, I've had nightmares about this. Although, good thing I keep a flashlight on my desk for exactly this scenario. I have thought and overthought about this since childhood. Well, I was gonna end my shift and go straight home and start the show, but I guess I just dreamed myself doing an intro. Don't you hate it when a dream is so comfy that it actually lulls you into missing something urgent? Okay, good. Those are just shadows and not some creature that comes out at night peeking around the corner. Offices have a creature that comes out at night, right? Or maybe that's just schools. Well, no matter. I suppose it's still plenty fitting that the map we should start off with is Office Maze Remake. The dark version, as you can tell. I chose this pretty much out of nostalgia for last year. I mean, I remember being a security guard, following Jerry or Gary or whatever his name was around, and eventually having to shoot a man in self-defense. Yes, I was indeed living the office worker's dream, but unfortunately now I'm just a lowly drone. Now I'm Gary, or Jerry, and we're gonna have to navigate this place in the dark to try to find a way out. I've always loved this idea, and I think a lot of people fantasize about doing this with school and then with work. Having the run of the place, being able to see it in a state you don't normally see it in. I mean, stuff like this, those times you get a glimpse of this on your way out, I think that's where a lot of liminal vibes come from, or our attraction to it at least. to make it something that's creepy, but at the same time comfy because it's familiar. Wow, for an office building, we really do keep a gross bathroom, don't we? And these doors are massive. They don't need to be this big. They're opening outward. I am pretty sure I just heard a toilet flush. Was it me by accident, or is there actually something spooky going on here? Okay, wow, I made it so much worse by turning this open room into a narrow hallway, and I swear I still hear things. I hope it's the janitor making his rounds. Not even a blinking light on the cameras to let me know that somebody's out there. Office cubicles in the dark. It's definitely unsettling. Okay. Which way do we go first? Probably into the boss's office, right? I mean, we're pretty much just intruding on everywhere we can. See, this leaves much more space. Although this is definitely still prime corner peeking weather. But as I was saying, I definitely think that this is a fantasy a lot of people have because, well, it is creepy and comfy simultaneously. Comfy because it's also familiar to us, and creepy because it casts that familiar place in an eerie new light. Literally an eerie new light. Like the whole atmosphere of a place changes at night, and we know that that's just a general rule of existence. So if it's someplace we don't normally get to see that way, it's only natural to wonder about how it changes. Is this a break/conference room? Why would you want a projector in here? If I'm sitting down in the break room, I want to not work. 5th Annual Subcommittee Meeting of Internal Revenue Analysis for Committee of the Royal Revenue Discussion Club. No girls. Well, glad we stopped to read that. Oh, look at this. I thought we were looking out onto a parking lot or something. There's so much reflection in the glass from this light that we don't see. It's actually just an internal, basically double room. All right, so does that mean that we could go up and around this way? Oh, look at these angled hallways. Look, this is really cool because it's definitely the kind of thing that inspires liminal imagery. And yet it still looks like a real place that might exist. I mean, it's furnished. You can discern a purpose for each area. And yet, this is the kind of architecture I crave, the kind of thing that is more than just an open box. Wow, for an office, we sure do have a lot of rope around here, don't we? And a lot of lumber, too. And a very big emphasis on ventilation. I guess they were very health conscious when they built this place. Or very conscious of the creature that comes out at night, making sure that it has enough room to maneuver around and drag back large prey, and to whatever lair in the basement the janitor feeds it from by day. Bonk Atomic Punch. My favorite. And here we are back around. Although with all this foreground, it creates so many shadows, and I swear I keep seeing movement. I mean, imagine being the only one here. You're just wrapping up your work and swearing you saw someone walk around the corner. Maybe even recognizing a coworker doing so, but thinking, hey, Bill went home hours ago. I'm having one of those horrible self-inflicted scares to myself, and I don't need it right now. Imagine when you go home from your office job, there's just an entire crew of silent doppelgangers that sit down at your seats and continue working through the night. Open up. Okay, I was kidding about the monster lair in the basement. What is this? The door is boarded, and I guess for good reason, because something tried to claw its way out. There really is a tunnel down here. There's an Arby's somewhere that way. Find my key. Oh, there is so much more to this than what I was expecting. I thought I was just going to walk around in a liminal office. Turns out there's actually a whole adventure to be had. Well, Halloween adventure to start us off. Okay. This is the kind of thing you hope to run into. I would so get eaten in a horror situation. I am far too trusting. I'm far too willing to just see where something goes, I think. But yeah, this actually is textbook liminal, in that there are useful spaces built into hallways. This whole place does feel transitional. Everything leads to something else. Exit, you say? Maybe it actually is, but we're not done up here yet. You know, for an office building, this place does seem big on surveillance. Look at this. Like, sure, I can understand these are meant to give individual meetings some privacy. But in reality, this whole thing is working off of the classic, like, liminal hallways. Or at least the ideas that create them. Wow, we've actually got our own kitchen here. It's more than just a break room. I think most places are lucky to have a microwave. A lot of places probably start off with microwaves, but those privileges probably get revoked pretty quickly. But you can definitely see that this is a very open sort of office. All the board meetings being held right here. There is an elevator. I wonder if it actually works. I was definitely hearing things. I thought it was the elevator. Or actually, it was so faint, it was kind of like distant singing. I was hoping it was the elevator. I'm definitely hearing something. Boss office. Well, now we know that this is the boss office. Come on. Oh my... Oh, that's just an epic gaming chair. Oh, look, all his Benjamins just scattered all over the ground. He needs those for, I don't know, shark cards and CSGO skins. The boss is a fish in a bowler hat, or whatever kind of hat that is. He looks like a magician, maybe. This is what I feel like when a video gets really favored by the algorithm, including turning into a fish. The hat is not a requirement, but it just isn't the same without it. Now, you might think this is actually a good thing, because it means that there actually is somebody here and we'll have some company. But in reality, he has no idea what's going on right now. A plebeian like me is beneath the perception of someone as high class as himself. So I'm thinking we better just get out of here. There was the exit door over this way. Wait, is there a door here we haven't opened? Locked. The one locked door we've encountered. Now that's creepy. But it has not taken me long to go back into spook mode. Oh my, we are not supposed to be here. The service tunnels. None of the decor and friendly memories here. This is just some place that we're straight up not supposed to be. It reminds me of the Fallout shelter tunnels under my high school. It's like the whole place has got atmosphere, and the second you come here, it's like you're in a completely different realm. Here's the power and servers and whatnot. And some file cabinets, though what documents you keep down here, I really don't know. All I know is it's a lot of corners to hide behind. Look. There's even more office space here and a radio we can listen to. This must be the security room. There's really nobody here at night? I'm the only one? I can't actually seem to interact with this, oddly. This is so weird. It's like there's a whole parallel world. Another group who has their own work that has to get done underneath the office. They've even got their own dark, mirrorless bathroom. The only light is that and the glow from the vending machine. This is so weird because it's like there's a whole parallel office down here almost. Like, it makes sense for the security room to be down below. But there's like a water cooler, there's chairs. It's like it's the basement, but it's partially decorated just like the office. Oh my. That's not my car. Huh. So I'm really not the only one here. It looks like somebody never got to leave. Lots of somebodies never got to leave. Oh my. Is falling asleep at your desk actually that common of an occurrence? I'm seeing more vents, and every vent around, I'm assuming. Oh, thank goodness, outside. Well, at least somebody had some fun on their way out, huh? Please tell me there's an open gate somewhere. Oh, no. Oh, there's only more parking. Okay, the gate is open, but I'm not going to be able to make it out here tonight. It's freezing. Dodo? Or Plague Doctor Chicken? Well, it's one of those things. And you... The gate is open. This place is completely abandoned by security. There's no way that's the usual method of operation, right? But it's so freezing out here, I definitely won't make it home. So it looks like we just have to find that key. I mean, look, maybe I would try walking home or calling an Uber, any of the myriad other possibilities, if it were any other night than Halloween, but it is. And if I don't embrace this opportunity, if I don't embrace the adventure, I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. So let's do it. Let's find that key, see what's in the Doom Tunnel, and I guess survive to brag about it at work tomorrow? I'm not going to lie, when I opened the door, I thought in the red glow that was a pile of human remains. Given the biohazard bag, it actually might be, but that could just be related to Creed's side gig. I keep telling him not to bring hobbies into work. He's going to get in trouble for it someday. And here we are, full circle. Now that I think about it, there's a disturbing lack of windows. So nothing ever feels like the edge. It always feels like one thing leads into another, endlessly. We need to find a key. I haven't seen one anywhere, but we may have to get started by just breaking those boards down. So now that we've activated the ever-helpful flashlight bug, I think it's time we sought help from an old friend. Howdy do! Oh, Safety Glock. Good to see you. How have you been this year? Pretty great. Great. Terrific. Yum, 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 yum. Oh, you are hungry for ammo. Oh, wow! You never showed me where you work before. Are we finally doing it? Safety Glock, what do you mean? Oh, Just forget it, okay? Okay. Well, anyway, we're going on a Halloween adventure, and I'm gonna need you to break these boards down for me. I don't know if I can look at you the same way again. Alright, let's try it. Feels wrong. Whatever was kept back there, granted it wasn't kept back there well it's not going to be kept back there anymore. Let's find your keys and maybe an Arby's if we're lucky. Oh yeah, this is why it's an office maze. Old barrels. It actually kind of reminds me of the tunnels under GM None of this seems like it belongs here, and yet here it is. This seems incredibly old. That's a corpse, and that's a much deeper tunnel. You've got flares. Okay, we'll try and use those in a bit. First, let's see what else is here. Whatever we found, it's just the tip of the iceberg. There's some spray paint, tinged with the despair of whoever put it here. Wow, this place is actually huge. Should I just go back to the ladder? We've got to tell somebody, but I don't think we can tell the boss. He either knows and doesn't care, or wouldn't care if we told him. Brian Griffin's grave. It is so bizarre how this map can so seamlessly go from genuinely creepy into just memes, basically. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, if this TV actually gets at least basic cable, we totally could set up here for the rest of the night if there's no monster. If we can clamber our way through. You know, hang on, no. I'm totally getting cool idea. You could totally set up the sickest hangout spot ever in like the Paris or Odessa catacombs, couldn't you? And actually, I'm pretty sure people have done exactly that to an incredible scale in the case of Paris. Well, there's some fresh fruit. Maybe this is where Steve comes on his lunch break? Oh. That scared the absolute bejesus out of me. Angel, are you? Just like the office above, these halls are so curved and angled. Even if we had a longer distance flashlight, it will not allow us to get a better view. Where am I? Look at all the stuff that's ended up down here. It's an absolute garbage chute. Is there something there? No, just some old toothbrushing gear. Including a toothbrush. I'm thinking, if my sense of direction is anything, that it should be this way. Safety blocks run out of ammo. I just keep waiting for the moment that something comes rushing at us out of the dark. How in the world? It's crushed, too. Speaking of creepy imagery, Oh no, we broke somebody's specialty mug. Well, I guess at this point they're not in a position to care, but hey, if we can reach in there and angle it, at least we get some free water, right? What is that? It's like some kind of black rock that does not seem to react much to being shot. Never forget. That's actually an infra asset. That's not even custom for this. There's an orange in a cage. Although anyone who's ever had an orange knows they belong there. Let's dismantle somebody's fort. I knew I was making the right call. Let's make sure safety Glock is topped off. We've got effectively infinite ammo. Boo. Scared much? Even here, somebody was having fun. This is actually really creepy. Like, the hallways are not especially narrow or claustrophobic, but they become so as soon as you fill it with all this clutter. Okay, that's the ladder. We found it. The devs of Source are in jail now. Oh, are you also expressing your frustration with Hammer? I can see why. Oh my god. Okay, I know nothing's happening, but that instantly filled me with such a sense of panic. It was like adrenaline shot straight to the heart. So many dead ends down this way. Not even having my own footsteps is actually making this so much worse for me right now. We're back to the ramp. Is there actually anything to this, or what? Well, let's not go back that way, because we've already been that way. Which of these did we come from before? Doesn't matter. Oh, light, 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 light! And another corpse. Huh. Poor guy. Died drinking what he loved. Is he okay? And other such things. Were you somebody who pissed the boss off by beating him in CSGO? And so this was the tomb he gave you? Look at that. You're all wrapped under a garbage bag. He waited for you to die down here and then erected a monument in the spot where you died. Still not quite sure what's meant by key, though. Like, is there actually anything? Oh, good, there's the exit. Well, I didn't find any key, but I did find some Halloween memories, and also some corpses of probably long-missing people that I should tell someone about. But anyway, we have not actually had a look inside any of the vents. Can't open it, but Safety Glock's got us covered for that. And at this point, I really don't care about causing property damage, because I don't know if I can return to my work at this point. This leads to the parking garage. That leads to the door next to the parking garage. And that leads to the boss's office, the boffice, some might say. Kablam! Yep. Now that's how you make a great escape. Ooh, and this one goes downward. Yep. Oh, wow. So something absolutely can crawl into the vents from here, is what you're saying? What is this device? Actually, it kind of looks like the dials for like a phone or a microwave or something. Does it actually mean anything? Well, I'll tell you what else reminds me of GM Butte. Our ability to cheat this thing, because I only have so much time to spend on this. There we go. Let's just place these around, and, well, it's sort of like that stuff they can inject into someone's circulatory system in order to get better imaging. You just place this stuff down, and we'll be able to see it in no clip, and mark where we've been. Oh. Are they dead? I don't know, man. Who writes like that? Well, they're right. They are bald. Oh my god. Oh, hey, look at that. Well, at least we could get another flare if we needed to. Imagine trying to do this by flare light. Oh no. I think I broke something. Lights are starting to behave weirdly. They're just not giving anything off. There's something here. Well, there you have it. The map from a distance. And even as the lights were starting to break, I still have not found this key. It's so empty without you, Brian. Alright, door. I got your key right here. How's that, ancient monster? Wow. All of this resulting in a meme about how much Hammer sucks. Well, I guess what else can I expect? On the workshop page, I didn't find anything saying where the key was, but I did find a lot of the creator talking about how much Hammer sucks, so I guess if anything, this is a monument to that. And I suppose I shouldn't be too upset about that, after all. This map does what it does really well. We spent a lot of time down in that maze, but, well, isn't that just the way of Garry's Mod maps these days? All of them are a really cool thing that they set out to do, and an Easter egg that is just as, if not more, expansive than the actual main event. Still, though, this mod's got humor, but it balances it so well with what it sets out to do, which is to be a creepy, grounded liminal office. And I really appreciate it for that, because liminal space maps are a dime a dozen, but so few actually directly connect with why we want those feelings anyway. But I think my time here is at a close. At a certain point, we run out of adventures to have here, and we've just got to step out into the night and see what awaits. Also, it is way too cold for the end of October, man. Snowing like this? These days, it doesn't even snow like this until, like, February. But whatever, I'm sure it's fine. What do I do? What do I do? Hang on.
Chris, it's 3 a.m., man. What's up?
Hey, Rat. Listen, man, I screwed up. I fell asleep at work, and I'm not going to make it home in time for the Halloween special. Hey, you explore a lot of worlds. Do you know any place I can do it instead?
Okay. Chris, slow down, man. Chris! Hey. I got you covered, man. It's okay. Hold on.
You do?
Yeah, man. No, I know a spot. It's okay.
This has got to be the densest fog I've ever seen in this game. It even seems to have, like, custom effects for it. Oh. And verticality in this fog is definitely something else. It makes me have no idea how high up we are. I can't help but be reminded of a certain section towards the end of Silent Hill 2, and not just because of the fog. Bro said he knew a spot. And that's not me cursing whoever recommended this map. That's actually the name of the map. It's actually by the same creator as one I explored a couple months back titled GM Sabru, or TTT Sabru. And that one turned out to be much more than what I thought it would be. This one also came very highly recommended. So let's look around and see what we can see. There's something at the end of that walkway. Okay, there are ladders. Look at that. Ladders that are wood and brightly colored. Or were once brightly colored, like they belong on a playground or something. But this right here is nothing but a playground of tetanus. There's some big structure, some big pillar here. It sort of looks like the foundation for a bridge. Oh, we have made it to the bottom. It's water. These supports extending down below. Okay, we need to get up to that statue. But first, is there anything to do with this? It's like an even creepier version of the astral plane from Control. That's the weird thing. I can actually see a sun struggling to penetrate this place, and there's something rotating up there. But down here, it just doesn't matter. It's like being the last chip on the bottom of the Pringles can. Man, this is so cool. All you need is these rusting beams and any combination of their placement within this fog. There's another one of those statues up there. Oh, don't fall in. Don't fall in. I cannot tell you how averse I am to reaching down and dangling my fingers in the water. This place may be a lonely nightmare, like the kind of thing you would wake up sweating from because you can't find your way out. But I still can't help but feel like there's something under that murky water. Alright, have we just come full circle? I think we have. Or have we? It's like there's a denser layer to the fog just above me. That goes down to the end, almost as if a boat is supposed to dock there. And there's another. So there's at least 3 of those statues. Endless walking, seeing the same things but never getting anywhere. These are all the hallmarks of a nightmare. And there's gaps, areas where you're meant to jump across. Nothing ever seems to pass directly over. And we've just made it back around. Nothing really connects. I don't think the area is actually all that big, but nothing really connects. If I were walking down here and I just saw a silhouette on the edge of the fog, I would lose it. Actually, I think I know where the sphere comes from. So, do you guys remember Jurassic Park 3? That scene where they're walking in a cage in that misty area up in the cliffs? Such a terrifying scene. Why isn't there more dinosaur horror out there? Alright, leap. Are you something we can interact with? Oh, you are! Oh! No. You teleported me straight into the water. Well, that was awful. At least we know now that the water doesn't insta-kill us. Oh, look at this beam. It's a useful landmark, but it makes it feel like these are the crumbled remains of something that used to be much bigger. If we climb up here, we don't have to go all the way to you. We can round this corner, because I wasn't making any progress down there. Man, this is so dense. Honestly, could not have chosen better architecture for this style of map. But we're very close to you. Do you have somewhere else to bring us? Just elsewhere along the path. Oh, look, an impromptu bridge. Where does that lead us? Further and further up there isn't happening, and it's too steep for us to climb, but that structure is actually towering over us still. We are all the way up here now. Well, I guess we made it to the top. Oh, I can't even see anything but this. I can practically feel the wind. Only hope is to try and slide down it, right? Yep. Yeah, surfing, 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 surfing! This water is surprisingly deep. We are in big, big water. Oh, this extends so much more. Like, that's the thing. If you were to take away the fog, and there are night and no fog versions of this map, I can't even imagine what it would look like. Back to here. And straight to you. Onto the tower. Although, I question the usefulness. So, at this point, I'm not happy to admit that I don't know what else to do other than take the plunge. Which we'll be doing after we reach here and make sure we put on our swimmies and our dive suit. Have we used you yet? We have. Alright, cowabunga! Look, those rays of light cast downward even here. More so than we could see. The visibility is actually better here than up above. How funny. Well, look. Where is that? Where was that angled piece? Because that is going to serve as our landmark right there. Now, once more, I've still got that snorkel that I found in the aquarium last year. So we'll be able to speak while we're descending into the abyss. Like Ed Harris in The Abyss. Now, VR being what it is, we'll have to do this slowly so that we can maintain control. All these beams, they seem to be anchored into concrete, which is useful, but that concrete extends down a ways as well, and it's starting to get darker and darker, and we've still not seen any kind of bottom. Look. Oh, wow. I'm not just screwing around with this map. I think this is intentional. This is huge and actually weirdly claustrophobic. All these foundations connect and they go impossibly deep, and I still have not found soil. And I'm starting to hear something. There's cutouts. Okay, stay close. Stay close to the walls. They don't go into soil at all. At least not yet. So much for that visibility that we were offered for just a moment. Wait. There's beams here. And glitchiness up there. Okay, you're our lifeline. We're following you down. I just need something so that I'm not just suspended in nothingness. Oh no, we've finally reached rock, and we're still not at the deepest. Thalassophobia, submechanophobia. We're off to a great start, aren't we? Oh no. Just straight off the cliff, huh? Tell you what, if I were to go all around the map, is this a circular opening in the seafloor? Oh, look at this. It is. It's like a canyon that goes all the way around. And this texture actually looks like compacted metal, like somebody crushed untold thousands of cars into this. It's almost like the beams we were walking on are just the growths of this protruding from the surface. I had no idea how apt my tip of the iceberg comparison was, but we're no longer just following it down, we're beneath it now, beneath the shelf that all this rested on. Oh no. Oh no. Something's getting louder, a metallic grinding from the deep, and when I look up I can see something! Oh my god! I recognize that texture, it's the eyes from Sabaru! And there's nothing stopping me from just walking on it. That presence I felt from the beginning, it was right down here the whole time. In a place where most of the people who download this map will probably never think to look for it. That is so creepy. Just a moving something in the abyssal plane. Not to name drop a map. Just a loud and angry something in a hole at the bottom of the sea. Just think, a map that feels inspired by a nightmare all its own. And most people will never know that in the deeper, darker depths, there's something older and angrier and huge. And it's so easy for all of this to go unnoticed. I kind of feel like I should be getting out of here now. Well, if I even can. If I even can. Okay, here we go. It's only now we gain an appreciation for just how deep this really was. And this is how far we have to come to even begin to stop hearing it. Things get darker and darker, and that noise grows louder and louder until finally, in the last moment, you're confronted with whatever that is, and that would be the precise instance you wake up and sweat. This was so creepy in its own right, but I don't know, it just feels completely different now that we have the whole picture. Knowing that there is something far below, down there. This map may not have had the complexity of something like Sabaru, but it has definitely got some ideas. But I think now that we're back here, it's time to move on to the next, right after we see what's up there. Click me. Oh, yeah, we saw these before. Those are probably links to some of the creators' other things. Well, now, like many nightmares, we're left with a sense that we've just touched the edge of something profound, and by the time we get breakfast, it's already gone. So let's move on to the next. I think this is it. We had a bit of a hiccup at the start, but he really came through this time. This is a place I can work with for a Halloween party. Things seem grossly out of season around here. But then again, I could have told you that from the moment I left the office, and if that house around the corner is anything to go by, if we call it a house. I think I recognize this place from somewhere in my memories. Because the next map we're going to be exploring is GM Home Alone, a recreation of the house from the classic movie, which is, in my opinion, a spin-off of Die Hard, both of them being Christmas movies, of course, and that last part's not even a joke. I loved Home Alone as a kid. When I first saw it, I couldn't believe that a movie like that existed. It was clever, it was full of wish fulfillment, and it was genuinely funny and actiony. I don't know, it just seemed like the kind of thing that barely seemed like it was meant for kids, while at the same time being perfectly appropriate. And I think the 80s and 90s were in a really good sweet spot for that. And I always wanted to live in a place like that. I thought it was so cool that they lived in this big house that Hollywood was insisting was roughly middle class, with this huge family, all these different spaces and areas. I don't know, it was just so full of fantasy. Oh my god. Oh, I get it. It's when he puts the mannequins in the windows to make it seem like people are home. Now that is actually a pretty good security system. Well, unless you watch it for more than an hour or so and realize that it's a ruse. Okay, so now the question, how are we getting in here? Because there's no mat to leave a key under, and even though Rat seemingly took care of this for me, it's the classic Airbnb situation. You know, you get there and it's a whole problem and you can't reach the host. So it looks like we're going to have to do something that's probably unthinkable in this posh neighborhood's history. And break in. Let's go around the side and see what we can find. Wow, that house next door is creepy. Look at that. It's got a spire and everything. Hard not to feel watched from those windows. I actually just got startled by the stop sign. I thought it was somebody peeking over the fence like Wilson from Home Improvement. We can get a look in the windows and see that, oh wow. Mannequins aside, and wow, what a mannequin it is. Things are actually pretty detailed in there. Well, the first thing that struck me about this is the scaling of it. It actually looks like a realistic house. It's not been like G-modified. Somebody put real effort into this. And somewhat low effort into other areas. Wow, garage left open. And somehow there's still some tools and bikes left. Wow, this family really is irresponsible. Probably extremely forgetful, too. Oh, look at that. There's the zip line to the treehouse. I love things like this. It's the same thing with GM Monster House. I love it when a map creator who really has the talent and the time puts together something to really remember the details. The workshop has a million maps that are based on movies, but when it's like this, when there's so much attention to detail, you can tell that it's made by somebody who loves the source material and who remembers all these little things. Yep. Whoa, I got launched. May not seem like much, but as a kid, I would have killed for something like this. They've got to be horrifically unsafe, though. Like, are tree houses mostly just a movie thing? I have seen them in real life, but they're a lot more rare than children's media would lead you to believe, I think. Got to be extremely unsafe. Now, I don't believe we ever really got a good look at the outside, but this really is something. It's a whole complex. No fence on this side either. Is this their garage? Yeah, no, I think they have a second garage, unless that belongs to the neighbors. But no, there's a fence there too. People so rich they got 2 garages. Okay, maybe we can try coming in on the basement level? Ah, yes, they always forget to lock the basement. You go in, you go out, and you don't think anybody else is going to think of it. Wow, look at the size of this place. Hey, you. This place is full of mannequins. Where did he get those? Why did they have those? Was that explained in the movie? I feel like in TV land, people can just get easy access to mannequins. Oh, look at that. They've got a laundry chute. And there's the big scary furnace that was in everybody's house in these movies. God, look at these things. Imagine trusting homeowners with something like this. That is insane to me. Here's something I don't think I've ever seen before, and I don't know how much we see in the movie and how much is just the creator filling in gaps. But look at this, 2 basement stairs. All this space is like unthinkable. It seems like this comes up off of the pantry. The store doesn't want to... Oh, there we go. So we've got a bathroom here. Look at how nice this place is. Look at how inviting. This really does feel like just an open-air apartment building, and that's kind of how they treated it in the movie. Now, I'm pretty sure in that a lot of the relatives were visiting because, it was like Christmas and all. I mean, it's huge. It could accommodate all those people. There even is a lamp there so that you can have more light if you need it, but when it's not needed, it just becomes a cozy little spot off to the periphery when you need to get away from the noise. And stuff like this. The use of shadows in here actually shows me that this is more than just a geometric recreation of the map. It's a recreation of the mood, what makes it so comfy cozy in the first place to make someone want to recreate it. Because there's so much that goes into the look of a movie that I feel like a lot of people don't even think about. The coloration, the set dressing, the lighting. Because it's not just about having a space for your set pieces to take place in. It's about making a movie feel like something, and it's that feeling, not the events that you associate it with. It's that feeling that decides when you decide to come back. And despite all this richness in a $10 million house, this is our Christmas tree. Just kind of bare and put up on a pedestal. And yet we had these rotating department store things. I don't remember if they said what this family did, but maybe they're combining incomes. Look, we've got the TV room off to the side. Like, the fact that these are 2 distinct rooms, a sitting room and a TV room, is nothing short of wild to me. But still, this is a bit strange. Why is there a wardrobe just out in the middle of the room like this? Then again, it seems like we have reached the Home Alone stage of this, so I guess Kevin had made his own modifications by now. Oh God, you don't think he's here, do you? I actually hadn't considered that. If the mannequin is in the window, if furniture's been moved, he definitely already knows I'm coming and that I'm not supposed to be here. Oh God, what has Rat gotten me into? Alright, well, defense is defense, and I'm here legally. I think. I didn't make the arrangements. Do we have any other ways up besides just going up the front stairwell? There's actually another stairwell here in the kitchen. 2 staircases everywhere you go. Well, that's a win for fire safety. Potentially a loss for any defenders, which I guess could be good for me. Okay, no, you're just indulging in redundancy now. 2 doorways that lead from one room to another room. All right, let's be careful then. Oh, there's an opening above us. Oh no. Okay, be very careful of those shoeboxes. Keep an eye out for any wires. You never know, this kid could have assembled an IED of some kind. Oh, look at this, there's so many angles. I feel like I just heard something. Like a rustling. Nope. Okay, nothing here. Nobody in the bathtub. Side room clear. Alright, now that we're down on one end of the hall, we can advance slowly, room by room. I don't like this. This desperately needs a ready or not map. Nobody here in the kids' room? Okay, firearm secured. Oh, wow. This place is packing heat. Was there something there? I thought I saw a shadow. It might have been a poster in the back or a window. Maybe I'm jumping at shadows. Really, no, seriously. People argue that Home Alone is Die Hard for kids, and people argue that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Well, my argument is that Home Alone is actually a horror movie from the perspective of Joe Pesci and his friend. Okay, in the closet. Okay, I got bunk beds on the right, bedroom on the left, and a bathroom. Always got to remember to check the tub. That's a great hiding spot because what you do is you burst in the door, right? You look around, clear. You turn around, and then he rises up from the tub and shoots you in the back. You can't even return fire at that point because this thing's just absorbing bullets. It's better protection than most places. I don't know how well it would actually work when it's being shot that directly at close range. This place has been ransacked. Nobody here, but this room is right under the attic stairs, which is the one remaining spot. Victory. If you can accept losing, you can't win. Okay. You know what that means. Enemy is determined and will not go without a fight. Only one place left to hide. Oh, that's... I actually thought there was something there. It's a giraffe stuffed animal. Well, if you didn't want me to shoot, you shouldn't have posed yourself so dramatically in the light so that shadow would cover your face. Oh my god, I fired a shot at a stuffed animal. I'm sorry, I thought you were a child. And there's his big wheels. This is nuts. It's even got these deep little hallways where you can hide. Like, why? Why is this necessary? The construction of this house is wild, and yet I love it. I mean, I talk about this all the time. I can't stand modern architecture where everything is one big kitchen, and then upstairs there's a hallway with a few bedrooms off to the sides, and just everything's a square. This has actually got, like, heart to it. It's got character. I don't know. I feel like a lot of houses just aren't made this way anymore. But it seems this kid may have seen me coming and absconded. Well, I guess that just means he knows what's good for him. Because we're going to be sitting up here for the rest of the night. Ooh, look at this. We can even climb onto the roof. Can we see the rest of the neighborhood from up here? I guess it's too cold for trick-or-treaters in this area. Well, you know what? That just means more candy corn for me. Look, the morality and legality are really complicated here, so I'm just gonna stick around and have my Halloween party until somebody tells me to stop. And we'll take it from there. That's just how I live my life. But in the meantime, I suppose we should do a no-clip run and see if there's anywhere else he might be hiding. After all, popping out halfway through and slaughtering the guests would actually make for a pretty cool horror movie. Dude, how about that? How about a horror movie with Kevin as the slasher? I mean, that's basically already the movie, but you know what I mean, right? Can we go in any of the side houses? No. No, it doesn't seem... Excuse me? Excuse me, this map is made by Nipper? That's incredible! Wait, really? Is this like old or something? Or do they still make stuff? Is this originally supposed to be like a CSS map? Because the thing that really struck me about this is that it's not their usual, like, abstract style. It's actually incredibly detailed. Like, even for a Counter-Strike map. Hang on. I mean, the scaling of this, it feels like I'm in somebody's house. A large house, sure. But it's so realistic, it doesn't even feel like Gary's Mod in a lot of ways. Well, either way, I'm glad it exists, and I can foresee a number of gameplay applications. When you look around, you realize this place really was a kill house, and, well, I guess that is how Kevin saw it too. The defender always has the advantage in warfare. Look, if creepy and comfy is all about an insulation from danger, then if anything, we were just giving this kid a Halloween treat, right? And with how badly Christmas tends to go for him, maybe he wanted that. Maybe we made his night. Or maybe the police are coming as we speak. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I mean, that's the appeal of old architecture, right? You can hunker down, feel safe in this big, strong house, and nevertheless feel like there's probably ghosts in the walls, right? So, let's explore the next one. Do you people have any idea what a dream come true this is for me? No, seriously, if you were to make a VR game that was nothing but a work simulator working the night shift at the Krusty Krab while all the weird customers come in and out, mostly to serve to break up periods of silence where you're doing nothing but manning the register, maybe scrubbing the floorboards or doing maintenance in the back cooking food, I would be in heaven. Voices of the Void on the Krusty Krab night shift, that's what I want. But to make you understand why the Krusty Krab stands out as a creepy and comfy location of all things to not only myself, but I would bet an entire generation of kids. So imagine it's like 2001 or 2 or whenever this came out, little 6 or 7-year-old me just lying on the couch after a day at school. It's pouring rain outside, so even though it's only evening, the lights are mostly on inside, and it's creating all these strange shadows, a lighting that isn't really the normal look of the house. And I'm flipping through channels, and hey, look, SpongeBob's on. I did not expect to be so genuinely scared by this goofy show. And it's not like the premise of the episode wasn't perfectly in line with that. Basically, if you don't know, it's that Mr. Krabs decides that the Krusty Krab will run 24 hours a day, and enlists his only 2 employees, SpongeBob and Squidward, to be the ones to man it. Of course, nobody's coming to the Krusty Krab in the middle of the night, so bored and sort of annoyed by SpongeBob's shenanigans, Squidward makes up the story of the hash-slinging slasher and the 3 signs that herald his arrival. This puts SpongeBob into an absolute state, really effectively freaking him out and having him jumping at every little creak and shadow. And over time, that sort of rubs off on Squidward as well. And that's not just the plot of the episode, that's also the way it works as well. Because it's all in the delivery. Most of the episode isn't the events themselves, it's just being told a story, being primed to be scared, and letting ourselves feel it to the max. It's such a fantastic exercise in building tension, and it goes to show that even a silly story can scare you if it's told well. And that's why it's one of my all-time favorite episodes of a kids' show. However, absent the arrival of the slasher himself, we have work to do, and I don't think Mr. Krabs would like us slacking on the job, so if we want to keep this job, and we do, let's have a look around. I honestly do think this started my love of night shift horror. Okay, can we actually pick up these Krabby Patties? They've been left out by someone. No, these are the ones we glue to the table. I guess we always want to make at least one seem like there's people at it so that it creates the idea that this is a hot location. I mean, let's be real, who's really in here during the day? I guess people turned away by the chum bucket. Galley grub, we can even read the full menu. Oh wait, what does a Krabby Patty cost? $1.25, and only 25 cents more with sea cheese. Wow, this really is a product of the late 90s. You know, today I had a $20 burger, and it was just okay. I mean, it came with fries, but still. This place looks a whole lot smaller than it did in the show, or actually, now that I think about it, does it? Because when we see Squidward standing at the register trying to figure out where all those noises are coming from, the place seems like it extends pretty far before you reach the door. Yet, anytime they're huddled together staring outward, it seems like it's right there. But I guess that's one of the advantages of using the medium of animation to tell a story like this. You can change even the environment itself to reflect what they're feeling. Like in the beginning, when they're mostly keeping each other company. The place seems so huge, like they're not even aware of where the other is at any given moment, and least of all, what's around the corner. But as time goes on, as the tension builds, as they spend more time huddled together, it's almost like the walls kind of shrink in, to the point where it feels like they really are just in a glass bowl like this, and anyone in the darkness outside can see in, but they'll never see them coming. Well, unless they arrive by a bus. And I've just realized the dumpster is waiting out there. We're gonna have to take out the trash at some point tonight, huh? Okay, so let's see what we can interact with. I am so sad that we can't actually pick up these Krabby Patties. Nope, can't open that. How about the bathrooms? These bathrooms, which change in appearance every single time we see them. And also, shouldn't the freezer be back here? I mean, I feel like I remember them coming through this right doorway in the episode where they thought they killed the health inspector. That's also a spooky one. There's a porthole right here, but just looking out onto darkness. The map could have really jump scared me badly right there if it wanted to. Every once in a while I hear like a little squeak, suggesting that there are some ambient sounds, but I can't quite make out what they are. I just really appreciate that the textures are all like just lifted from the show or so faithful. It almost feels like I'm in one of those 3D Nickelodeon games that were coming out during the 2000s. You know, this is a dimension I hadn't even considered. The fact that up there is a shelf, a storage area. So imagine you're sitting right here, especially if you're alone on the night shift, or maybe the other fry cook is back here. You have no idea what's up above you. I feel like I would keep looking up, imagining something peeking over the edge. All right, well, maybe counting the money in the safe would take our mind off things. Here we are in Old Man Krab's office. Oh, and there he is when he was played by Willem Dafoe in The Lighthouse. Huh. Well, with that solid blast door, I would definitely feel a lot safer in here. Look at this, he even has a little window. I like to imagine he specifically put this in so that he could monitor SpongeBob. Does this door open? It doesn't seem to, surprisingly. Maybe he had the bolts reinforced after one too many grill explosions. Well, Mr. Krabs doesn't pay us to stand around. We just gotta do this simple task. Take this bag out there to the dumpster in the dark. All right, we got this. All right, we did it. And now, maybe we can check what's up here. Yep. Nobody hiding up here, is there? Oh, wow, this is an angle we have not yet seen. You know what? This is how we conquer our fear. We become the scary thing in the rafters. We just wait up here, and Mr. Krabs comes in the morning, wonders where I've gone, and then I drop down, and in his panic, he won't notice what a bad job I've done. But he will notice us trash-free. Or something. I'm not sure what my strategy is here. I think I've already gone insane. I've been working here 15 minutes. Actually, really, though, we should probably see how far this goes. Oh, look at that. There's actually a little sea life down here. Question now, is there anything around the back? I actually don't remember if the Krusty Krab has a consistent back door. Oh, look, there's a boat. Huh, that's strange. I guess you could say it's supposed to be ours. Because otherwise that means that somebody else is here, somebody that we don't know about. And that's a terrifying thought. We can't open the dumpster. How far out can we go? I'd say that's the edge. Oh, okay. We should probably be getting to the next one now. Looks like we've reached our next destination. That being RP Rapture Apartment. And before I step out of the bathysphere, can I just geek out in like 4 different directions at once here, please? First of all, we're starting off in the bathysphere. That is so cool, and it looks so true to the game. I do wonder how many of these are just imported assets, or how much is like insane dedication to brushwork. But also, we're about to step off of this thing into Rapture, and I can't help but be reminded of my actual first entrance. You might consider Bioshock a gateway game into horror for me, as it was probably the first real scary game that I played when I was 12. And I know it's not a dedicated horror game, but it certainly felt that way. It introduced us to this grand splendor, an underwater city at the bottom of the Atlantic. And then as soon as we got inside, we were treated to a terrifying horror scene that doesn't let up for quite a while. And here it is in all its sunken splendor. This is so true to the art style of the game, and it wasn't just for aesthetics, it was so important to the story of Rapture. It's at the bottom of the ocean. It was kind of doomed to fail from the start. When you get here, it almost seems like it's always been that way, but I believe in story it hasn't actually been that long. Look at this, sitting here in the moon pool. Well, unfortunately, the reflections in the glass are a little bit wonky, but you get the idea. Unfortunately, I think that's just a problem of VR. Individualism and ascendancy. One thing prevents the other. That's why you've hung those banners there, right? You don't have any misguided principles down here, do you? Okay, good. As long as that's true, everything will go great. We've got windows here where people can watch us come in. Look at that. There's a sea star clinging to the glass. That was the cool thing. It always looked like everything outside of Rapture was physical. It didn't just tell us that we were on the bottom of the ocean. Everywhere you looked, it was apparent. Whether it was looking through windows and seeing other parts of the city or the seafloor and life around you, or whether it was currently rushing in and causing a much more immediate danger. Bioshock was so much a game about greed and ambition, so many different parties vying for power in this place, when it was itself created as a means of getting away from existing power structures that the people who founded it couldn't exist within. And all the while, it was so apparent to us that this thing's days were numbered. I mean, we could see it falling apart all around us, and yet everyone wanted to be king of the wreckage. You can see how grand it was meant to be. And yet by the time you arrive, you can't imagine it any other way. It almost feels like it was built to be ruins. A tombstone for the ideology that created it. Really, I guess it's just a bunch of corpses down here fighting to be the king of the grave more than anything. After all, it's not like anyone can really leave. And the messed up thing is that none of them even seem to want to, even as the grave collapses around them. Oh, wow. Yeah, the reflections are definitely screwed up in VR, although we do have a giant Andrew Ryan head in the corner, so that's one positive. But of course, one of the most standout features of Bioshock was its Art Deco architecture, a style which oddly fits with being on the bottom of the ocean, even though we've never done such a thing in real life. Somehow, the association just seems to stick. And it also speaks to the game's themes, you know? It's evoking imagery of a time period where the rich are just competing to flaunt that wealth, doing all these vanity projects essentially just because they could. I mean, even the existence of a city on the bottom of the ocean was conceived because Andrew Ryan was effectively taking his ball and going home because he wasn't allowed to do anything he wanted. And he found that even when he could, he still wasn't happy because he didn't like that other people were allowed to do what they wanted. Well, I suppose we've found that apartment, and, you know, this really is the ultimate comfy room, isn't it? I mean, I've always said that creepy and comfy is danger and an insulation from that danger, and Well, what could we be more insulated from here than the crushing weight of the Atlantic? We're as isolated here as we could possibly be. Ooh, and look, we even have waterfront window property. Oh, and look, we even have waterfront property. So, you know what? This is actually a window that is only here so that you can complain about new people arriving, so you can shake your fist at them. It just kind of automatically did a thumbs up. Hang on, that's not what I meant to do. I am not inviting you to the neighborhood. But actually, let's see how we're decorating the place. Ooh, we've got our own fish fossil. Ictus robustum. Look at all of this. Frosted windows down here to get privacy from the fish, I suppose. We've even laid out our own candles, because once more, who says you can't have atmosphere down here? I had heard that this map was pretty small, but it's actually even smaller than I expected. So I wonder what happens if we try and do a little no-clip. Ah, this room's not even actually real. Yep, nothing much over here. Well, tell you what, there is one piece of this map we're still missing, and that's what we should be seeing beyond the glass. Look at this. This honestly feels like, well, like playing the game for the first time. And what an introduction. So few games are able to recreate something like this. Because it starts with a panicked scene, you in the water, wreckage burning around you, and swimming to the one bit of safety you can find. Then there's the trepidation of stepping into the dark, seeing all these unknown statues and banners around you. And the only thing you can do is trust the bathysphere. And then only moments later, you're greeted with this. Your reality changes like 3 different times in the space of 10 minutes. And it only changes once more once your bathysphere actually arrives. Thankfully, we were spared that lesson this time. If we try and get a better view... Happy New Year in 1959. That essentially serves as the epitaph. Just think, sometime, probably not so long after the events of the game, or at least the second game, these lights are finally going to go out, and it really will just be a bunch of headstones resting on the ocean floor. Imagine what it'll be like for whoever finds this and starts piecing things together. Now that may be something worth visiting in a future game. But for now, I think I'm just about done here, and seeing as the bathysphere doesn't seem to be working anymore, I guess I'll just start swimming. Oh, I mean... Well, I guess we're a police officer investigating, and I really can't think of a better time than Halloween to check out a map I've been really curious about for a long time. And that is GM Horror Forest. And the workshop actually has me really curious about this map's origin, because I'm currently subscribed to 2 versions. The first of which was released in 2014 and details, the theme of the map and some of the things we might find on it. While there's another from 2024 where, instead of explaining anything about the map, there's a whole rant, a single paragraph run-on sentence conspiracy, basically, where the uploader alleges that Facepunch moderators were attempting to silence them and prevent them from releasing this map in time for Halloween. Also, the map was released or uploaded to Steam in March. So, I don't know. So let's get started. It definitely looks like those who enjoy the traditions have made this place their home. And this place is wide open and foggy. But the moonlight is doing us a lot of favors, that's for sure. This actually does feel like the kind of place where we could have a lantern. I mean, we may not need the light, but we should certainly look the part. I like to imagine I'm traveling through the forest with a cloak. I mean, we agree, this is cloaking weather, right? Some of these trees are so tall and twisting and yet totally bare of any leaves. It seems there's a lot of space to explore even behind us, and we're going to want to turn this place over looking for anything that could be hiding out here. These rock formations are crazy tall. Anything hiding back here? See, I don't know what's changed between the 2024 version and the 2014 version, but it did say that there were potentially 6 Easter eggs to find. References to various horror movies, it said. Look at that, a full grave in the middle of the woods. Norman Bates. Okay, let's see if we can do anything with that. No, it seems we can't disturb your rest now. No, it told us there were 6 names that we had to uncover. Whether anything actually happens, I'm not sure. All I know for sure is that, like a cat that's trying desperately to make sure you don't notice its claws stuck in the carpet, some part of the bottom of my pants has been stuck under the glass surface on my floor, and now I can stand up like nothing was wrong now that I've gotten out. There's a cabin in the woods. Well, on a night like this, of course we have to go towards the light, right? Look, the way it peeks over the hills, it actually looks like it's staring at us, almost like it's glancing aside. There's a river running through this. Is there going to be any place we can cross? Well, someone's left the door open. I don't imagine it's all that deep, but maybe we can hop over the log? I don't know what it is. For some reason, this whole thing is making me really want to go back and rewatch Over the Garden Wall. Oh, that is such a good movie. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and try it. Wow, I didn't expect it to actually have physics. Huh. Those don't look like they're for anyone to take. They look like the bags of trick-or-treaters. Maybe they didn't get an answer to their knocks at the door and they went inside to see where the owner was? Oh, look at this car. It looks like something out of the 1930s or 40s. And the windows are all smashed. Almost like maybe they were upset that nobody was answering and decided to take it out on this. There's a line when it comes to trick, don't you think? There's a second grave. Elvis. Well, if this were to be a horror reference, I imagine that would have to be to Bubba Hotep, right? Overturn their cart of pumpkins as well. Well, look, if whoever lives in this cabin is the same one who put those posts up at the entrance, they probably wouldn't take too kindly to being disrespected in this way, huh? To be fair, neither would I. Nobody here. Oh! Well, somebody's here. Oh, this took a turn that I was not expecting. This guy's doing Mortal Kombat fatalities. Can I take this? Oh, it's not physicsy. Oh boy. Can't take the chainsaw either for self-defense. Oh, some people are being thoroughly deboned up in here. Either this guy really takes the sanctity of Halloween seriously, or I've stumbled onto the sleeping space of the Bone Brigade. And these are some imperfect recruits if that's the case. Look. 2 people both hung up on meat hooks. I should be more concerned about the fact that I'm still here, shouldn't I? Well, I don't see anybody. Maybe we're not past the point of no return? Maybe we can climb up into the dark second floor. Okay. Let me tell you what just happened there. I turned around. I noted this texture, right? And in a split second, I interpreted that as something peeking through the doorway. So now that we've got that out of the way, we can move on. Red rum. Wait. Reverse that. Put it backwards. Drummer. This guy must be into that death metal music. That's why he gets so violent on Halloween. A single broken piano, and there we go. A Halloween poster. I feel like this must be my favorite franchise that I only like 2 movies of. Or I guess 4, now that the new trilogy is out. Don't suppose there's anything I can do here. Ooh. I'm not quite familiar with where this is from, but I certainly do feel like it fits the spooky vibes. Now this is when it's time for something to peer around the corner. Can we talk about the fact that in the original Halloween, and especially Halloween 2, Dr. Loomis is a complete nutjob? And everybody around him just kind of tolerates it. Everyone always forgets when I talk about that movie that he is... I keep seeing things move. But everybody forgets that he's not a cop. He just runs around acting like one and exercising absolute authority, and everybody just listens to him. There's literally a scene where he's holding a child under one arm, a screaming little girl using her as bait, while pointing a gun with the other hand. I once read a description where somebody quite succinctly explained, in this movie, he flashes iron at a child no less than twice. Okay, I don't see anything out here, but there's a whole other side to the forest we've yet to explore. I swear I just heard something over here. Yeah. It's like consistent too. I don't know, maybe it is just part of the ambiance, but it seems to be directional from this way. We are gonna no-clip you later. There's a little hiding spot beneath these rocks. I would not trust these leaves here. Kind of thing that could conceal punji stakes from some deranged hunter. And we know for a fact that hunting is a favored pastime of these woods. Oh. Hey, look at that. There's like an anti-air gun or something. There's also a view right over the edge of time. So we must be trapped in some kind of forest fairy reality where it's its own pocket dimension. What is this? Counter-Strike without ads. I imagine that's in reference to some kind of 2014 controversy I'm not familiar with. I'd be very doubtful that it's a reference to a horror movie. Now, what about you? I imagine you're probably like a Dave Defeat asset. But was there maybe a movie that featured something like this? Because all the original workshop page said is that there are 6 Easter eggs. Okay, if it doesn't want to play around with physics too much, let's see if we can hop this. Yep. It does, but we made it anyway. Wow, it looks even spookier from over here. This terrain is wild. I really enjoy this era where people were starting to get a bit more realistic with their mapping. Like, it wasn't the same blocky geometry that we came to expect from, like, late 2000s Counter-Strike. But it's still, I don't know, it's still got that sort of roughness to it. It's not hyper-realistic and detailed like we would have now. But it's like the first step approaching it. I believe we just found ourselves a campsite. Although it doesn't look to be full of happy campers. Darwin, what are you doing? I told you a camping trip is a bad idea if you don't even know how to start a fire. Although this could just as easily be the end result of a fire that went too well. Sleeping under the stars, who am I to judge? You guys have fun. Actually, with the plants growing out of your open, gaping mouth, you look like you're probably the most experienced of the bunch. That's how you can spot an Eagle Scout. They're covered with moss and vines. Come on. Meantime, though, was there anything else here? Not much that I can see. Guess that means we've solved the mystery of the horror forest. Which is that it's just a horror forest, it's just here to have some spooky fun. This was awesome. Oh, hey, there's something over here. A couple more graves. Oscaton and Steen, who I'm pretty sure from what I gleaned are actually the original creators of the map. Bringing us right back around to the entrance. See, this map is just fun. It's small, it's loaded with references, and I think it really helps put you into the mindset that inspired it. It was just made out of a love for Halloween, and I enjoyed. I just wish I had any idea what was going on behind the scenes, because this has a really weird history on the workshop. Only thing, though, is I'm still hearing something from over here. It's coming from right here. What's the deal? I'm not seeing anything. Under the ground, maybe? No. There's just a weird noise coming from this spot right here. That is so strange. But I guess when it comes to Halloween night, half the appeal is those things you walk away thinking, what was that, for the rest of your life?
Hey, did the address work? Did you find it okay?
I gotta hand it to you, Rat. This place is great. How'd you say you got a hold of it?
You remember that guy Randy?
Rat?
As long as nobody sees you come or go, we'll both be fine, okay? Hey, I gotta go.
Gotta be kidding me. Took all of an hour to run out of all the candy corn at that party. And I had like a metric ton of the stuff, like seriously. I guess it just goes to show that it is the most underrated candy. But where do you go when you need to get exactly what you need on Halloween night? Well, you gotta go to somebody that's in the spirit of Halloween. Spirit Halloween, that is. And believe it or not, this is not a paid advertisement. It's just the most underrated, over-memed Halloween store on the planet. And possible property scam. I mean, after all, they are infamous for moving into just about any unopened storefront in the world. But we love them for it. It's reliable. It's there when you need it. And when you don't. That's the crazy thing about this franchise. But whatever the season, whatever the need, they've got you covered for Halloween. That wasn't a poem, but it almost sort of sounded like one, didn't it? And I guess there's no snakes, turtles, something. Wait, what does it say? PP Productions. I'm guessing there's a lot of source memery going on around here. After all, it lists a couple of map creators, and I believe this is a modification on one that's just a regular supermarket map. But let's step inside and see what we've got. Dude, I have always, ever since I was a kid, loved this time of year, and a big part of that was because even regular stores like supermarkets started doing stuff like this. They put out all the big Halloween decorations. Oh my god, really big Halloween decorations. Look at that. I was so taken aback by the billboard back there, which, by the way, we're still going to address. Look at that. Be careful, though, with the... No way. No way, they're here? Wait, I'm having way too much fun in the parking lot to step inside. The mystery machine is here. I thought you guys were dead. I thought the Blair Witch killed you. For more information on that, see my video Childhood Nightmare Fuel 3. Back in the 90s, they put out this series of bumpers on Cartoon Network. They were supposed to be like a Scooby-Doo parody of the Blair Witch Project, where it was super ambitious for what it was, because it had the animated characters superimposed over live action. And it was literally just them going through the events of the Blair Witch Project in like semi-live action. And as a little kid seeing that, I was really small at the time. When between shows I see what looks like news footage of the Mystery Machine in the woods with the doors open, surrounded by police tape, it's a bit traumatic. Like, you're essentially telling me the headline, Scooby Gang found dead, except they haven't been dead at all, leading my mind to conjure all kinds of images of the horrific tortures they had been through. And from the look of this guy just fell right out of the sky. Those cars might look like they're in pretty bad shape, but imagine the poor sap that's in the middle. Oh, and it brought its gang, too. Look, I've never played the map that this is based on. I'm pretty sure it's like a classic. But this is so much more than just a reskin, and that's why I love it so much. It is oozing with the spirit of Halloween. This darkened parking lot and flashing lights urging us to get indoors as quickly as possible lest a killer sneak up on us. All these decorations and orange lights. And not to mention, there's like little jokes and gags like every 10 feet, and I imagine some of those are probably holdovers from the original. But even still, it understands that something like this is allowed to be goofy. Look, we've got the electric eye over the doorway. Well, we're coming in the side. I want to smell those hay bales. But it seems that even Spirit Halloween gets the shelves cleared out on Halloween night. Look at this. They've even got customer service and or a pharmacy. Yeah, that's where they give you the things with the really high sugar content. All right, let's maybe go wash up first. Oop. Come on. Come on. Oh, I'm sorry, occupied. No wonder it won't open. You keep trying to kick me out. Unfortunately, jack-o'-lanterns can't speak. After all, their vocal cords have been severed. I wonder what the pumpkin creatures they're cut off of look like. Hang on, wait, come on. Oh my god! Hey. You're looking mighty contemplative. Hey, look, this is gonna sound weird, but if you're feeling down tonight, do you want to come to a Halloween party? Seriously, all are welcome. The more the merrier. I'm gonna need reinforcements for if that kid comes back. He said yes, so we're already making friends. And that's the thing, even though he's probably some kind of pagan demon, I don't judge. And when you're at Spirit Halloween, when you're at a themed store, it's kind of like being at a con. You're around people who share your interests. You can strike up a conversation. Even if all you came in here for is candy corn. I don't actually have like a story reason why I'm coming back here. I am just trespassing because I'm nosy. But hey, what's wrong with being nosy? Which is going to be my defense in court. Nothing back here. Where do they keep the high fructose stuff? We're a team. Do your part. No, screw this part. Yeah, that's basically the map making process. Please stop vandalizing our break room pictures, whoever you are. Don't even need me. You know what? At this point, they're probably just used to people doing whatever they want here. This would probably be so funny for, like, RP purposes. Look at that. Look at that. The signs above the registers are Minecraft jack-o'-lanterns. Once again, I'm not sure how old the original map is, but this is definitely... Actually, Minecraft's almost 20 years old. When did it first publicly release? Like 16 years ago? Oh my... I wonder if that guy we met in the bathroom can, like, reverse or halt aging. Pizza slice, hamburger, flesh and bones, and other stuff. Huh. Here we go! Here we go! Unfortunately, this isn't a physics prop, so I'll just have to fill my pockets. Hang on. Yep. I don't know what angle to go with. Are you ingredients or do you work here? Either way, this place has clearly got what I need. More than enough candy left to feed the entire party. So let's... Yep. Oh my... Are you pulling a spooky Halloween prank? Wow, you are very committed to the prank. Yeah, old Sonny Jim. Always a kidder, always making me fall for the old frozen corpse in the freezer gag. I'm guessing that means I can just help myself to whatever then, right? Since you're not going to be manning the register? That's what that means. Alright, let's have a look around. Now, we got plenty from the counter, but we can also have these giant pieces of candy corn, which I might struggle a bit more to get down. Oh, or maybe these are like candy corn warheads, you know? Like you put these on the front of a missile or an artillery shell? I wonder what the payload is like when these things land. You know, I found out, like, only in the last couple of years that apparently candy corn is one of those, like, classically hated foods. I don't understand that whatsoever. I love candy corn. I mean, it's so sugary that I can't eat it for too long or else I'll start to feel sick. But, you know, I can eat a decent amount before that happens. Ah, yes. It seems they've exhausted most of their stock of bones. The real ones cost extra because they're harder to procure, but more fun. I can't tell if this is a decoration or the manager. I'll never forget this one Halloween, eons past now. It was either Halloween or the lead up to it, where my sister Jess and I had like several big bags of candy corn, and we were downstairs with them, and we made this little makeshift bed out of comforters and pillows, and we just had them all poured out there, and we were just shoveling handfuls of candy corn, and the reason was because we were competing to see who could get the fattest fastest. Anyway, I don't know what we were thinking, but it was delicious, and I've never lost my taste for it. Ooh. Speaking of losing taste, does that mean that once these things have been fed, they're safe to remove from the shelf? Look at that. There's like finger marks where it seems the attack started before they were fully consumed. Given the uniformity of it, though, it seems people just don't learn. See, this should have a random chance of happening anytime you use the Try Me button on a toy. Apothecary? Oh my... It was a joke before! I was making a joke. They really do have a pharmacy. Alright, let's... how do we even get there, though? Huh. Are these decorations, or are they the staff? I always assume that any given store has some type of gnome that works in the back, some Smurf-like creature, and they're probably themed to whatever the store does, so I guess you guys could be employees at a Halloween store. Wow, all these back areas, it's kind of starting to remind me of GM Descent. Oh my god! Oh, I see. No, it's the butcher. It's the butcher in the back. See, I was worried for nothing. The flickering light is just for dramatic effect. Actually, I bet that helps the butcher get in the mood. I mean, in what other job can you cackle maniacally while plunging your blade into flesh and have it be perfectly legal and you can do it in front of customers? And in a place like this, they'll probably even applaud and make you go viral online. What a charmed and fanciful life I live. Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, that was actually really good. See, that came in 2 stages, because I see the glowing red eyes up there. I was going to make some comment about how, wow, that looks like eyes. Raise the flashlight, and sure enough. I've actually seen a lot of these props before. They come from, like, Halloween props packs that I use, well, actually, in the party room that I start all these videos with. I just realized that's not a random trailer. This thing is flipped upside down. But it's, like, placed neatly, so I guess it's okay. They really don't want PP Productions coming in here. Other than that, though, it doesn't really look like there's any way up there. And jury's kind of out over whether that's a decoration or this place just has a really, really bad infestation. So you won't be able to see this, but the aliasing in the headset makes it look like you're subtly moving, like you're breathing, tilting your head. One of my favorite memories of school is actually a teacher who utilized that effect deliberately. So she was a music teacher in my school, and she would really get into things. And one day, the class came into her room, and the lights were dimmed. It was dark, except for a couple that were set up in the back. And there was a table with a purple cloth draped over it, and on it was a man lying down. And it was, oh, my... Oh, hey there! You came to supervise. You're the manager. I get it. That's why you're wearing a suit. Look at this. Look how happy we made him by inviting him to the party. See, a little kindness and inclusion goes a long way. Even on Halloween. I mean, to quote the classic line from Nightmare Before Christmas, that's our job, but we're not mean. And seeing that at a young age, I think that's influenced a lot about how I see these things. But back to the story. So, the old man on the table, well... in reality, it wasn't a man. It was made to look like a man. A realistic old man mask draped over something to be the head, and the rest of the body was under a sheet, but it did look like a full body. And it was in the back of the dim room. The only lights were around him, so it just barely cast light on his face. It looked so realistic that way. And she put on spooky music, sat down beside it, arranged the chairs so that we were all facing her and the body behind her. And she read to us The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. And the way she did it, it came off so spooky. But, of course, the entire time she was telling the story and setting this mood, our eyes were on the man behind her. And afterwards, she asked us questions about it. See, from the time we had walked in, she never once called attention to him, never even mentioned that he was there. And we spent the entire story just waiting to see what he was going to do, what was going to happen. By the end of it, when she started asking about him, kids were saying that they had seen him breathe, that they had seen him turn his head, that they had heard him murmur. And of course, none of that was true. He was just a set of props under a blanket. But it really was a demonstration in how, by setting the mood, you can allow an audience to fill in the blanks that aren't necessarily there, to enhance something. Atmosphere is essentially a story multiplier. And that was such a valuable lesson to impart on kids, and such an interesting way of doing it. And just in time for Halloween, of course. I will always appreciate teachers who do things like that. Crash Bandicoot? Dude, what are you doing here? Oh. Shoplifting, I see. Dude, that's your own fault. The prices here are more than reasonable. At this point, we're really just throwing assets around, aren't we? I mean, how bad do you have to be to end up in Spirit Halloween jail? I mean, clearly the literal skeletons know a thing or two about things that are and are not safe to consume, right? Oh, definitely look to these guys for advice. If you get your drugs from a cauldron, I respect you a little more. I don't know if like medical or educational institutions will, but I respect you more. Really, I think cauldrons just need to make a comeback. More things need to be produced and stored that way. Even if you're just heating up like Lipton noodle soup, just put it all in a cauldron, dump like 20 cans. This is actually designated as a prop hunt map, and I can see that being a tremendous amount of fun. I mean, not only do you have all these unique props to work with, all these cool hiding places, but there's so much to see and do along the way. Like, it's a map that is built for distractions, and in a social game like that, that's a lot of fun. Not to mention hearing people scream as they discover some of the more Halloween-y Easter eggs. Ooh, speaking of which, look at that, the lights are off in the freezers, except for the grinning faces at the back. I really thought this was going to be like a 2-minute interlude, but this map has brought me a tremendous amount of joy. And anytime you have to leave the house, leave a party during the holidays, maybe you bring a couple of your closest friends so it's not so boring, that little detour always ends up being the most fun, you know? You can turn going to the store into an adventure. I feel like Halloween is a holiday that invites distractions. You know, you go out with a plan and you just see where it takes you along the way, see who you meet, get into shenanigans. It's the kind of thing life is made for and that we just don't get enough of in the way things are structured in the modern world. Yeah, but maybe if we go back to the Dark Ages, in the times before man crawled on the earth, maybe we can find beings who do know how to live. And serial killers. Like, if you encounter a serial killer, you should probably thank them, right, for spicing up your night? I wonder what kind of tips they ask for. Oh, one more thing before I go. I do have to do a no-clip run, because this seems like the kind of thing where things could easily be hiding in the walls. That's the skybox. Looks like there's something over there. James Gandolfini? This is what I love in source maps. I love when they're just saturated in memes while still being functional. Do you think management knows about this? Do you think corporate knows about this? Do you think corporate of Spirit Halloween builds secret rooms into all their construction just so that employees can happen upon them at a dramatic moment? Because if I were an architect, I would do stuff like that just to make the world more interesting. Barricaded gates, a historic old building, the cops are here. This definitely seems like a group of people who know how to throw a Halloween party. Let's sneak in. Oh, by the way, the best Halloween parties you have to sneak into. Yep. Huh. From the look of it, they may have partied too hard. Abandoned medical setups. The building is on fire. That's another detail we can notice. And somebody spilled their missing texture stickers all over the place. Welcome now to GM Clock Tower, the Halloween version, and I'm pretty sure the decor is actually due to this originally being a Contagion map. Oh wow, the rain is weirdly silent, isn't it? Seems not everything's been ported over. And that rain doesn't seem to be doing very much for the rest of the city. Well, at least people are getting into the Halloween spirit, right? I mean, if there's a zombie apocalypse going on, it's on theme on this day. I feel like it should be forgiven, at least to an extent. I mean, look, if the undead are rising on Halloween night, it's probably because of some teenager's ritual that they were warned not to do by the old shopkeeper. And it's all about their growth and personal journey. And sometimes the rest of the town just has to deal with that. You've seen 80s movies. But anyway, before I continue exploring this, I feel like I need to explain a couple of things about how I do things, because this is a map that I've explored once before. You haven't seen me explore it before, but I have. See, when I do these Halloween specials, I start recording these things in like August, so that I'm not scrambling to make a 3 or 4 hour video with all this variety at the last minute. So when I make one of these specials, I don't have a plan for which maps I'm going to be exploring. I just take all the maps that I've subscribed to throughout the year that seemed interesting, but didn't necessarily seem like they'd carry a whole video, and look through those, maybe subscribe to some new ones, and record them in blocks. It's very disorganized. It's just whatever, whenever. and only afterwards I'll decide which ones to cut, which ones to rearrange, what order to put them in for a good pacing. Anyway, last year when I recorded this one, I don't remember if I just sort of woke up and started doing it, or if I wasn't in the mood at the time, but either way, you could just feel that I wasn't bringing the right amount of energy to it, and so I ended up cutting it and replacing it with something else, and it should have gone into the Patreon upload I do every year, where I just show all the maps that were cut from the Halloween special. But somehow or another, this one ended up getting lost, and basically became Lost Librarian Media, practically the only example. It also became lost media to my own brain, because I don't remember anything about it, but all that means is that we are ready for a do-over this year. So, let's check out the Zombie Apocalypse Halloween Party. I suppose there are some advantages to arriving fashionably late. And I actually have to say, looking at those accent lights up on the tower like that, I can't help but be reminded of the aesthetic of the Resident Evil 2 remake. There's a garden out here, those candles and jack-o'-lanterns staying nicely lit in spite of the rain. Wait, what does that say? John was here. John Zombie, perhaps? Peeking through the window from the bushes like I'm the problem, it seems we can enter the party here. But I want to see what's going on through the garden. Seems like a wasted opportunity to not decorate all this up as the path to the party. But then again, this being a city hall of some type, I imagine it's probably an adjoining park. I'm not entirely convinced we're not on a roof. But yeah, this might have actually been one of the other problems I had. It's the silence. It's deafening on maps like this. It's so weird to be able to see this rain, but not hear the roar of it. Oh, great. A keypad. A keypad and a locked gate. That no doubt got a lot of people killed. When will they learn? And how is zombie survival not built into building codes at this point? I mean, they've only been a genre for decades. All right. Let's see what's inside. This map is making no sounds of its own, not even the doors. But it seems the jack-o'-lanterns are still smiling giddily. They watched untold violence and potentially theft of coffee. Still, I probably should help myself to some of these brightly colored muffins. Glazed donuts! Oh, the most cruel thing in Gary's Mod is static food. Oh, hey, look at that. I've just realized these candles, they are not exactly working in the sprite department. In fact, with the black background, they're dangerously close to copyright infringement. Just saying. Something to consider. Ooh, looks like the party is this way through the basement. Unclipped stairs. So uncivilized. But no. Actually, if anything, it looks like the lights are out and somebody needed these candles in order to work on the power box. Is there... Okay, there is a door at the base of the tower. Let's see what we can see. Ooh. This is spooky. I love an old building. No signs of violence, but definitely signs of leaving in a hurry. The velvet rope tipped over. Nobody at their post. Like people were just trying to open up escape lanes as quickly as they could. Look at this. A hole has been knocked straight through the wall. And somebody's putting more of those missing texture stickers everywhere. Okay, we found our first sign of violence. Looks like the guys who came to shut down the party got more than they bargained for. Well, that's what they get for trying to kill the vibes. But, well, at least in his final moments, he was in a room with vibes. Look, there's even a lit lantern on the table. This place is absolutely gorgeously made. I never really played a whole lot of Contagion, but I definitely played a whole lot of Zombie Panic Source back in the day, and Zombie Survival in general, and I've always loved the architecture of these maps, the way they're designed, to the point where it's something that I bring up so frequently in videos. Because the way it works is essentially as a dynamic rising tide. These maps tend to be pretty vertical. Oh my god. You again. You got me twice in this. That is so rude, and also, thank you. It is Halloween after all. Just doing your job. Where can I leave a tip? But as I was saying, these maps do tend to be quite vertical, as that guy helpfully pointed out, because it's basically a sense of gradually abandoning positions as it becomes too difficult to hold them, until eventually you're making a final stand. Ooh. A final stand in one last narrow choke point, like at the top of a clock tower. Hopefully we'll be able to go up there. Seems like some were more successful in barricading. If we can't crouch jump, we can actually. Wow, I didn't think it would be so easy to get out of bounds. You would think there would be an invisible wall there. Yep. Oh, look at how ornate this fireplace is. I don't even know what kind of creature this is supposed to depict. Oh, okay, I see. It's like a gargoyle, and that's an elephant with its trunk. I thought that was like the body of this thing. And that's a sacrificial maiden, I guess. I say sacrificial since your hands are bound behind your back. Can we go through any of these doors? We can. And it looks like there was definitely a struggle. Oh, look at the way they tear right through. That was one of the coolest things to me about Left 4 Dead when it came out, was zombies pounding on the door and just seeing them gradually break down, knowing they would only buy you a few seconds. And those jack-o'-lanterns stare from every corner, mocking the survivors as they're hunted down one by one. See, I love looking at the architecture from this perspective, because if you end up in here, you are screwed. It's just a matter of time. I mean, the zombies themselves are individually in a very bad situation trying to get through this door. They're probably going to get shot. There's very little they can do to strategize, but as soon as they all rush you at once, it's so unbalanced, and it's just cool to see the scale of that unbalancing tip over time. Why is there even a hole here? The survivors are a united front, able to hold a wide area, and the zombies can hardly do anything about them. But eventually somebody slips up and dies, the zombie threat grows, and the survivors weaken and shrink. Circumstances force them to split up, they are unable to help each other, and eventually it's just hordes of zombies, their former friends, just hunting down the last few pockets of resistance. So I think it's time we started moving upward. You could not have been a better demonstration of the verticality of such maps. Looks like we were never meant to get to this top area, but it seems like invisible walls are just a suggestion now. Leading to nothing. I wonder if zombies are actually able to spawn up here. Because I remember in Left 4 Dead thinking it was cool that in Special Infected could spawn slightly out of bounds in Versus. They got to see things you normally wouldn't get to without no clip. I see you over there. It's almost like the jack-o'-lanterns themselves blocked this place off. Oh, look, see? The higher we go, the fewer options you have. The more the environment starts to favor the undead. So in here, it may physically look like a series of choke points, but there's also plenty of ways for zombies to sneak around, to exploit blind spots in places where you're not paying attention. I'm telling you, if the zombies are able to get into the tower and wait there before the survivors move on to it, it's over for them. It's really just about, like, one by one, the walls breaking down. Like, here would be another spot survivors would likely hold. But all it takes is for one guy to get through to cause a panic, and next thing you know, his friends are following him up as well. And that whole position is lost, and it's very, very difficult to regain. This place has got some major bats in its belfry. Guys, can I stay here with you? Actually, this seems like a really cool Halloween setup. I mean, imagine there's like a city-sanctioned party going on down below, but all the cool kids, maybe somebody's dad is the janitor and gave them the keys. You just sort of sneak away and do dares and tell scary stories. Maybe about the ghost that haunts the clock tower. Little experiences like that, because I do feel that Halloween is, in a lot of ways, about making a plan and then allowing yourself to deviate from it as much as possible. Looking up, I do believe we are in the main tower now. So it's all upward from here. And in zombie survival, that's not necessarily a good thing. Let's just make sure we keep checking those rafters, because you never know where more of those bat creatures will be. Those guys are getting a lot of mileage tonight. Here we are, and unfortunately, someone has forgotten to tip over this velvet rope. Yep. But no problem to me. However, it is a problem for anyone hoping to be able to see what's going on and keep their sanity intact. Imagine if you saw no-draw textures in real life. Yep. Let's see where we end up. This is nothing short of diabolical. It's the sort of game mode that really allows for emergent storytelling that players don't even realize they're making as they go. It all seems like they're doing just the next most logical thing. But the map design really pushes things to go in a certain direction. In this case, it's so cinematic how the final survivors who have been through everything come up here and are face to face with the destruction, the hopelessness. They have plenty of room to back up, so they can maybe hold this spot for quite a while, but they're starting to notice their ammo supplies dwindle. And looking down at the very place they started this journey, they realize that they could be taken by the hordes, or they could deny those players the satisfaction. It's an absolutely horrific situation to be in, but because you're playing with your friends, or even just some idiot randoms who are spamming into the mic, you're going to be giggling the whole way down. Tee! That was a fake giggle, but you get my point. On to the next one. And tell you what, I'm getting a little bit tired from climbing all those stairs. Why don't we take a little break and go see what Officer Flat Screen's up to? Next up for Officer Flat Screen is Horror Mansion Part 1. And something about this seems awfully familiar. I'm not sure why, but it's called Horror Mansion Part 1. The creator has said on the workshop page that there will not be a Part 2. So I guess we take this as it comes, as a horror movie that never got a sequel. Wait, when in car, press crouch first, and then E on the steer. Look at that, we're driving! That is so fun! I guess we're doing it like a Flintstones car, since we can't hear any engine noise. Some oncoming traffic. And a burning torch in the distance. I guess that's our destination over there. Oh wait, there's somebody crossing in front of the road. Well, I can't stop. Good, we crashed like half an hour later. I guess she's fine. Oh, I see. We swerved into a tree, leaving the car completely unharmed, but nevertheless, the rules of horror dictate that we have to get out now, although it seems that the tires were always quite flat. Look, don't ask me for consistency here. We've got an ancient temple, you know, just off the parkway. There seems to be a path here. Yeah, aren't you the least bit curious about these torches that are lighting themselves as you walk down? Because I'd be concerned about becoming a sacrifice. A snackifice, even. Look at the compression. As I kept walking forward, I came across a mansion? The lowercase i's and capital M are, well, truly baffling. Look at that! hang on, that is way cooler looking than I would have expected from that start. I mean, you're off in the middle of a flat plain like a 90s game. But even still, that place is huge. So many peaks. And so many open windows for someone to stare at me as I approach. Doesn't seem like anyone's here, though. Wow, great service in this place, huh? Oh my god! I don't know if the floor opened up or if that's something that I really could have seen coming. Really, it could go either way. That was surprisingly well mixed. Okay, we're in it now then. Oh no, this is giving me flashbacks to the sewers under GM Aurora Forest. Well, at least we made our way back up into the house. Presumably. Oh, it's a shed off to the side. We can see where we came in. Unfortunately, we can't just take this bike and go. Hang on, wait. There's a missing texture in there. A hammer. Okay, well, I guess it's a good thing we're missing textures. I have, like, all these games mounted. Ghost boxes with the power of levitation. Kind of strange to have your dungeon trapdoor just come out right back here, though, isn't it? Alright, well, it's glowing. Must be important for something. Wait. I saw you spawn in. Oh, you're closing the door behind you. Okay, let's keep this right here between the candles so we can find it later. Oh, look, this whole place is actually fully explorable. I didn't even notice you at first, my god. Looks like you've got something we need there. You're not gonna disappear and make a scary noise as I approach, are you? Oh my god! You did not disappear. Not right away, anyway. Why was that not something I anticipated? Why did I utterly not think there would be some kind of visual component to that? Alright, everything we find, we're gonna bring it right back here. This table is our inventory. What were you doing moving like that? I did not have you selected. I can't have haunted keys on top of everything. Oh, look. Purple. Maybe there's some type of key that goes to that door? Like a purple glowing one? Howdy, folks. That was kind of cool. I've got to give this some credit. I actually really appreciate its lack of scare chords. I mean, it is every bit as much of a jump scare fest, but it's also got a really nice environment. Some good vibes and atmosphere. And it's even having us, like, participate in gameplay with all these different items. Yep. There we go. Hey, folks, I'm not intruding, am I? This is the kind of thing I would have hated as a kid. I built up a tolerance now. But look, when we approach, there's going to be a jump scare, obviously. It's just about not wanting to do it. Like, sometimes people complain about jump scares being too obviously telegraphed. Sometimes that's the point. Oh. Oh. Oh, wow, you actually just forced me out. Okay. Well, that wasn't as bad as I was expecting. You made me drop the key. And it's lost its glowing property. But I guess it goes over here. No? Oh my god! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to follow you, but you were waiting for me. There we go. Okay, wait, so that's such weird scripting. It's openable for the jump scare, but to really open it, we need the key. Might as well have a look around the main hall then, right? There is music playing, but it's so faint. I may have to boost it for you guys. Or at least I think there is. Blue, it's locked. The hammer was blue, is that how we get in? That's a good thing for that glowing, or this would be a very confusing map to navigate. What about these doors at the end of the hall? The door won't bunch. Tell you what, let's have a look in the library first. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. The wall over there seems breakable. Well, the hole was certainly breakable. There we go. A safe. Are we able to find a combination somewhere? Alright, well, let's open you from the other side. Doesn't seem like we can interact with it, but our salvation and or massive payday is no doubt waiting inside. Alright, I was so distracted by wealth, I forgot this was a horror map. Hey there. Hunched over a candlelit table, no doubt writing your last will and testament? I'm sorry, I don't think I'm supposed to be using the flashlight. I'm gonna stop that. We followed you straight from the hallway to the newspaper. You were guiding me here. There are a few numbers circled on the paper. 6375. Okay, 6375. Yep. And the wall over there seems breakable. Alright, 6375. There we go. That was so stupid. Okay, well, I guess we don't need the hammer for that? So what do we use it for, then? We can't open the front doors, and why am I standing here? Why am I standing here? I know that this floor falls away. Yep. Let me just go bring up the hammer so we don't have to run all the way back. Part 2? I don't know, man. You tell me. Wait, Big SG-21. Hang on, wait, no, you're the creator of Horror Stories of the Lost and The Accident. I've totally played your maps before, and they're great. Well, thank you for making. There's really nothing beyond that? Oh no, we are giving this a no-clip treatment for sure. It's all here. This is so unfinished. This is literally a case of, like, they got to this point and were like, that's enough for now. And just never came back to it. That's so funny, but it's so in line with old Gary's Mod. Actually, I'm curious to know when this came out. This creator made one of the first maps I ever played on this channel. One of the things that helped me get big, and that was horror hallways. So speaking of, why don't we let Officer Flatscreen step back for a second and try another horror hallways, because that's not exactly an uncommon name for Gmod horror maps. I swear it always happens this way. I try to take a little break, I watch Officer Flatscreen get the pants scared off of him, and I just get so jealous I have to find something I can try for myself. In this case, horror corridors, not hallways, which is about 800 maps on the workshop. I'm pretty sure this one should work, so let's give it a try. A map by Bushman. That name sounds familiar. I think I may have played some of their stuff before. Welcome. Turn up your volume. Oh, that's how you know it's going to be good. It is advisable to play alone, but if you're playing together, try to stick together, because there's a chance to get stuck somewhere. If you split up, then use no-clip, but only to meet again. The map is quite simple and primitive, so it's in your best interest to play it honestly. There are 2 endings. Good luck. Wow, that is simultaneously setting a very low and very high bar. I am very curious. Ooh, there's a story. You often passed by this creepy house. Sometimes creepy sounds came from there. You always wondered what was there. One day you decided to enter there and find out everything yourself. We've had some good fun so far in Flat Screen, but sometimes I just want the full punch that comes from being there. So let's get started. And hopefully this doesn't break too badly. As things tend to... Oh my... Something's looking at us through these portholes already. What kind of map is this? Well, it looks like that hallway is sealed. This is going to be the only way forward. There's always a descent of some kind. Bump, 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 bump. Locked. Alright, bump, 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 bump. Actually, wait, no, there's a ramp on the side. Why aren't I using that? Do I have to turn the valve? No. There's a vent right there, and a crowbar right there, so I guess that's my blessing to use that part of the inventory. Alright. Oh, look at that. There's actually cobwebs in the vent. That simple touch actually makes this a lot more claustrophobic. A bit creepier, too. There we go. You know what? Maybe I would actually benefit from the flashlight bug right now, so let's reach out and take this key. Oh, it's going to do this. Okay. Maybe it's not so optimized for VR. Yep, there we go. Doesn't seem like these things on the walls are of importance. Some paint in the corner. Huh, the lights just went out on me. I hope that's the creepiest thing that happens to me tonight. Besides getting all these cobwebs out of my hair and teeth. Okay, so this definitely goes to there. My last chance to leave, is it? I guess you go right there in the keyhole. Oh boy, we're crawling inside the walls. Oh yeah, this is classic Gary's Mod horror. The map doesn't even have to make sense. It doesn't even have to be representing anything real. It's just teeing you up for jump scares. Wow, it's a real dark place. In fact, darker than it should be given this flashlight, and the ambient sounds have cut out. So what's it gonna be? Oh my god. Oh. Yeah. That's being here. That's being here. Okay, so I'll go the opposite way then. Since that's the way you went. That seems logical to me. Oh no. It's a dead end, and I have to go back where I just heard you, but thank you for reminding me that you're there. Oh, that was a great anticipation! Oh yeah, give it to me. Give it to me. Oh, I think things might be changing behind me as well. Rush headlong. There is no reason to hesitate at all, because all you're doing is prolonging your own fear. Great. Great. Hopefully this isn't... Oh, that's amazing! Ha! Joke's on you. In VR, that was too tall for me to see the whole thing, so I was just staring down a mouth. Oh my god. Oh my heart. Yeah, no, what do you want? What do you want? What, you think you can hurt me? I am death. Or something. I don't know, that sounded cooler a second ago. Wait, what? Oh wow, a long hallway. A real long hallway. Come on, yep! Oh, they're moving too. That kind of elevates this. Oh, look at this. This is the kind of thing I love, because there's real work put into the world design and atmosphere, and yet at the same time, it's a jump scare fest. And so I get that adrenaline hit that I so crave, and it's probably going to kill me, put me into an early grave. But anyway, it's strange, I've actually come to like the feeling. People think I scare easy. I do not. I will always yell if I'm recording a Let's Play and talking and something like that happens. But I mean, you should have seen me play Don't Scream. It's totally possible to have the discipline not to get that spooked. It's just that, why would you want to? Why would I do that as a horror Let's Player and just completely deny all the reactions? Let yourself feel it. I mean, I feel like that's a thing with people these days, is they go into a movie or a game and they feel like it's something they have to win. Like, it's only good if it can force a reaction out of them. But you're only cheating yourself when you do that. You're only cheating yourself. Let yourself feel it. Hello, eyeball. I've seen you in many places. Thanks for getting that for me. Whee! Ooh. Oh, yeah, it's a Jeff the Killer JPEG jump scare. Oh, I guess we're continuing. A key? Right there with you. Why that needed to be a key, I'm not sure. Couple ways we can go. Hey, you. Wait, you look familiar. Where are you from? And it goes away as we approach. That's cool. Optional scares for us. Yeah, I don't think any of these others are gonna open. Let's keep it going then. Meant to be played single player, but I bet this would be a riot with friends. The old jump in bed trick. A Nightmare House classic. Oh my god! Hey, whoa, hey! I love how it takes away my flashlight at strategic moments. So does that mean that something will have changed behind me? No, but the presence of the crowbar indicates that we're supposed to go through the vent. It also indicates that we might have possibly died there. Well, not my problem now. I really love this because jump scare fests at a certain point became like really looked down on, but I love them because I view them as like a virtual haunted house. That's all haunted attractions are, is walking through, hoping to repeatedly get jump scared by the performers. And here, you can put us through all the danger we want. I can't wait for something to burst through those doors. Oh, you're holding me back from there. What's it gonna be? Oh my god. Oh, it's pushing me towards you. Oh my god. Oh my. Color me shocked. That's the first like move player trigger that actually seemed to work. In VR, it tends to be really jittery. It's as if it never happened. I really hope this is music that can be played. But I'm gonna keep talking as if it's not, because I really can't count on the atmosphere to carry it if I have to remove it. All I know is that things are real tense right about now. Look at me two-handing the crowbars, if that does anything. Might be a little bit of nervous talking going on here. Thank you, music, for abruptly cutting out right as we get to Silent Hill. Thunk, 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 thunk. Wow, Silent Hill 2 is a very different game in VR. Thunkity, 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 thunkity! Thunkity, 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 thunkity. And other such expressions. I hear you closing behind me. course. Oh! Oh, good. It was all a dream. Can we get down a hallway without a jump scare? It seems we can. Nope, never mind. How naive. How foolish of me. Yep. Yep. Oh, well, I suppose that didn't count as a jump scare. And now it looks almost like a hospital. Oh, stuff like this is always so creepy in the dark. An opening there. Nothing around the corner that I can see. Maybe we've got to restore the power. Do we need to find something to help with that? Activate all generators. Okay, hang on. Officer Flat Screen had to investigate what was wrong with this one. Well, the lights are at least on now. Can't open that, but that is open. Would still feel better with my flashlight. I go through that. You again. You're just chilling in here and no generator? Please stop slamming doors on my face. No. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Engine room again. There's another one. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to do this with Officer Flat Screen. I don't understand why I can't activate these in VR. Okay, this is so funny. I'm playing like on the virtual desktop, but still in VR. So that's on. I've never experienced a jump scare in this particular configuration before, so let's see what happens. Either way, that should be opening doors for us as we go. Oh my god! Okay, so it still sort of lands. I got it! You're actually a thing. Open. No, no, no. Ow. No. I can't just get out. No. Let me through. That's awful. That's really awful. Okay, no, I'm not supposed to be using that stuff. I'm only supposed to be using the flashlight. Danger, high voltage. I don't care. How many of these did I need again? Nothing more, please. This map is certainly doing things I've never seen before. Back to here. Wait, does that mean that I'm good? It does not. There must be something else back here. No. No. No, I can hear you right behind me. Alright, so where else can I go? Oh, this opens. This opens. Now we can get that. Now the gates are open. So there is on-screen text just to guide us. Unfortunately, even in spite of Officer Flat Screen's help, that means I'll be facing that thing in VR? No, I guess I won't. I think it's gone. Which really just means that it's ahead somewhere. I mean, how does a thing like that just disappear? Let's go. Hangar. Of course not. Oh, how I'd love to fly out of here. Three doors, two endings. Have I made a mistake? Yeah, it seems so. Okay. Door number 1. Whoa. Well, that was a bit more mild. You're not going to let me go until I've experienced all the jump scares neatly lined up for me. All right, let's try it again. Door number 3. Yep. Literally the 3rd time doing it in a row. That's a disturbing noise. Oh, look at this place. It's like the basement of some old building. Or an industrial site. Kind of old where they still used to put archways on the windows. Well, we need to find a key, of course. Everything's locked behind a key. Oh my god! I couldn't move. I was just about to make a joke how I don't think you're doing so hot. Might not be able to save this one. Locked. But there must be something somewhere, right? Oh my. And I was just kidding before about liking the presence of cobwebs. Alright, is all the stuff broken down now? Finally. There's a key. Alright. Let's be wary of that as we attempt to make our exit. My hand disappeared. So too did the key. Great. Oh. Oh my. Oh, it couldn't be that easy. Oh, hey, it's you. How's your recovery going? Good, but it cost an arm and a leg. Howdy. Oh, I... Where are we? Are we back in the hall? I don't think so. Nope, we're somewhere else. Oh, wow, you really are just going to tease me on this key, aren't you? No, we are in the hall. So, are we saying that we have it? Because I'd really like to know. Maybe we gotta go down this one. No, so what are we doing? Ma'am, you kind of took away my key both times, so I have no idea what you want me to do now. I think I broke something, but I can't figure out what I'm supposed to do next. There's literally nothing for me to do now. Everything's locked on me. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that something bugged on me back there. Like I wasn't supposed to lose the key in that first room or something. The smile room. Oh! That didn't make me smile at all. Okay, I hope things haven't gotten broken too badly, but I had to do that at some point. You all looked like you could come at me at any moment. Ooh, a button. I wonder what this does. Hang on. Button. Why are so many buttons not working for me? It seems clear this is what I'm supposed to do. Wow, this is not working in VR. It just isn't. Oh my... There we go. I've never had this before where buttons just don't work if it's in VR. Up. I love a group that clean up after themselves. Well, mostly. Or are you part locomotive? At least that's what it sounded like. Surely rushing down these halls can bring us nothing but good fortune. Is it even worth turning around? This looks suspiciously similar to where we started! Wow. Okay, no, I'm running through all this like if... Yeah, no, I was thinking more in the vein of, like, Indiana Jones' Dart Trap. But... Hang on. These visions, they just come and go, don't they? Well, we sure have done a lot of running. The exit. Why don't I believe you? At all. Oh, Whoa! I don't know if that worked properly, but it still landed in the end. Not like how I landed. I landed with 2 shattered femurs. Here's our 2 endings. Well, the obvious choice is to rush to the light. But the fact that it's so obvious is what makes me really nervous about it. This might actually be Outlast music. And straight back to the abyss. Sorry, I got caught on the door for a second. I'm gonna take that to mean the end. Dude, that was so good. It was high production stupid, and it absolutely gave me just one jolt after another. Very effective jump scares. And when that's what you want, this is the kind of thing you appreciate, even if not many people are making them. Ooh, look at this place. Sitting dark and silent under the pale moonlight for who knows how long, the fog hanging low over this land, making it seem like a soft shadow against the darkness. Wouldn't be Halloween unless we had at least one urban exploration map. And we can certainly get our fill with GM's Sanatorium V3. This is a random workshop find, and I can't believe I haven't heard of it, because I gobble these exploration maps up like crazy. And since 2025 has been something of a dry spell for me in that regard, I am certainly eager to get looking. Look, they've done a really haphazard job of boarding this place up. Even the bars on the lower floor, wow. I did not expect the splashlight to be so effective against this thing's surface. And if it is going to be as somewhat realistically scaled as it looks like, why even bother with a flashlight? This is crying out for a lantern. This is a lantern sort of night, don't you agree? Especially with that big twisted tree in the distance. Well, the first step to any exploration is trying to find a way in. And, well, looks like even in spite of the crappy boarding job, we're still gonna have our work cut out for us. I can actually see that there are some lights on inside, which is crazy because it's crumbling to the point of plants starting to grow inside. Well, let's try the front door then. Ooh, could there also maybe be things around the side? Ooh. We could just crawl in through the sunroom. Now, this feels more in the spirit of things. Who uses the front door? You really just pop up everywhere, don't you? I mean, I used a whole bunch of you on my map, so maybe I can't complain. Huh. It looks like somebody tried to barricade this place, but from the inside. I can hear the distant dripping from somewhere within. Oh, this is so cool looking. I mean, the lantern light helps us locally, but even being able to stare into the darkness and only make out shapes because of the fog, that's a whole vibe. And oddly enough, it's actually something probably closer to what your eye would actually see in darkness like this. I mean, there would be some moonlight coming in through the windows. It takes real darkness to truly see nothing. And I guess it's just as well. It seems like we wouldn't have been able to get in the front doors anyway. Oh, here's the other side of those bars. Here is where I would give one of my customary victory touches. It's been a while since I've talked about those, but that's something I like to do in exploration. Like, if I find a door that thwarts me, and at a later point I find myself on the other side, I'll do a little victory touch of the other side. It's sort of symbolic of, like, this was something that a little while ago I was frustrated by the fact that I couldn't do. This ceiling is absolutely crumbling. And it seems like this was a ground floor ward. There's beds all over. Ooh, there's a ladder hidden in the corner. Secret room. Seems like at one point there probably would have been a door here. But we're not ready for this yet. That was a really smooth dismount. I didn't even mean to do that. I will say one thing. Doing this by lantern light was definitely the right choice. In more enclosed spaces, it's just so immersive. That's an elevator. No way that thing still works. Yep. Oh my. It actually does. I certainly wouldn't touch it. And we found the bloodstained murder room. Hey, so here's an issue. If you're gonna kill somebody in a tiled room, the whole point of that is that it's easier to clean. Look, you've even got a big drain right here. There's a collapse in the floor. But it doesn't look like it goes anywhere. I was wondering if that would lead to like a secret basement or something. Well, it took us a few minutes, but already we're learning that this place is more than what it seems, clearly. And it must have happened fairly recently because it's not like this place isn't well traveled. It is falling apart. Probably tons of vandalism. Well, I can see tons of vandalism. And here's where that elevator arrives. This place was never safe in operation, was it? Horror baby! Oh, are you here on business? Well, I suppose you would be. You go wherever horror is had. Okay, well, I don't want to interrupt your work too much. I will say, though, this is a pretty sweet office. I mean, if I were to have an office of my own, I'd like it to be decorated this way. Ah, I am so jealous. This place is so cool. No, genuinely, though. There are some more bloodstains, but look at this. Only starting on the second floor, there's, like, balconies overlooking this ward. I can just imagine this being like a day room where patients would sleep off to the side, and maybe during the day there would be, chairs and stuff in the middle. Meanwhile, orderlies can watch from above from a safe distance. Dude, the lantern is enhancing my experience of this so much right now. There's even a little spiral staircase for climbing the sides. So it seems like these wards are actually fairly self-contained. I can imagine before this all collapsed, there could have been a wall right here, maybe with an observation window. This place is really bare, and it's certainly not uncommon for real abandonments to be stripped to this level. So it's really cool in a situation like this where you can still sort of make out what it was like and how the structures might have worked. This comes out to here. Is there anything? Well, I know there will be something off in that direction. Let's take this one side at a time. I'm like a kid in a candy store. Bloodstains abound, and they do not look that old. We can break a vent right there. I wonder what that leads to. And actually... Oh, I think that might be a tank. Yes, okay. No, for a second, I got real chills. I thought there was somebody standing in the corner. Man, I can't tell you how many times I've seen a vaguely humanoid shape and just stopped dead in my tracks. I even saw once pictures of some underground bunker really, really deep, and at the bottom of the stairwell or ladder or whatever it was, there were just like many, many doorways stretching off in a line, and all the way down at the end, somebody had painted a dark silhouette on the wall. Scared the crap out of anybody who entered, apparently. Looks like getting to the upper level is going to be somewhat of a challenge. We could smash this down. And see where it takes us. As it turns out, straight back out to here. Well, that's fine by me, because we can use this to get to the other side. I know there was a broken down second level. Really strange that this place seems to still have power. I mean, a building in this state, I mean, if it still had wires in the walls, they should be starting fires, shouldn't they? Yeah, the more we explore this place, the more we learn that it's an absolute bloodbath. And now it's in places that don't even seem to make sense. I've got to say, the constant sound of dripping water is an appropriate backing track to this whole adventure. But it still sets me on edge for some reason. This is just the back hallway around here. Alright, well, we can use all this to get out and around. Once more, a shadow scares me. I thought there was somebody standing on the other side of that. I've heard the phrase, scared of your own shadow, and that does not describe me. I'm afraid of other people's shadows, which is much closer to a legitimate fear. Well, I guess let's check out the side building now. There's a little garage out here as well. I mean, this is really super atmospheric, but the longer I spend here, the more I'm wondering what potential gameplay functions this could have. Maybe like Prop Hunt or Trouble in Terrorist Town? I mean, the inside of that place is certainly convoluted enough. Another advantage of the lantern. You have to push forward into the dark. It keeps you in suspense. You get only a preview of what's in there in the fog. But you need to get closer to really see for yourself. Nothing here. I love stuff like this because it's not like quite up to the standard of some of the absolutely crazy maps people have been making the last few years. It definitely feels more like classic Garry's Mod, but it's still a step above like that older style. And I think it's because the atmospherics go a really long way in making this what it is. The fog, the colors, that sort of dark blue that hangs over everything. That's what makes this as cool as it is. Well, that and the soundscapes. By the way, I think there was one area we missed inside here. In my haste, we never actually came through this door. A lone perch. Oh, imagine the ghost stories we would create if some kids coming here on a dare were to see us from the woods right now. Just a lone figure standing up here holding a lantern, like they're waiting for someone to come back. I really hope that in my exploring adventures I have become somebody's ghost story in some way or another. That's gotta be one of the highest honors you can achieve in life. And the worst part is, if it happens, you'll probably never know. But this map is just so cool. It may be short, there may not be much to it, but the architecture is so nice, and the whole thing is decaying in such a cool and pleasing way. And there's just enough detail for you to speculate on, to make it seem like there's something else going on here, but that little hint, at least as far as I can tell, is all we're gonna get. Oh, I hadn't even taken note of that skylight up there. Really ties the room together and lets in just the right amount of light. I think what sets this apart from the older school map is that it could very easily be blocky, and the geometry is simple here, yes, but there's real effort put into the architecture. I mean, this left side of the building has a different style from the middle, has a different style from the right, and oddly, it's done in such a way where it all comes together and works. It's almost like they're different expansions that reflect the era they were built in. Alright, I wouldn't normally do this, but I saw somebody comment about doing it on the workshop page, and I got really unreasonably excited about trying it for myself. And it is Halloween, and I want to get spooked on this map. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, horror baby. You just keep watching my back, and I'll keep watching out for him. You hear that? I think he might be downstairs. I can literally hear his breathing. No way. This is an insanely creepy neck spot. Halloween is one of my favorite horror franchises, and I don't even really like slashers, but Halloween's 1 and 4 are certainly both pretty good. I can't tell if he was just outside the window or if he actually has made it inside. Okay, it was just a rock. I thought that was your shoulder coming around the corner. Oh my! I got jump scared. He was hiding in a hole. Okay, glitchiness aside, I literally just got the horror movie treatment where I got fake out jump scared, and then it turned out the real scare was right there, using it as a distraction, and I got. That's oh my. Speaking of fake out scares, all right, Michael, where are you? You think I'm scared? I think you'll find I'm a little different from your usual victims. You want to hear something? Halloween 2018 wasn't even that great, but Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends are some of the best in the series. Oh my god! Okay, I guess you took offense to that one. That actually drew you out. I love how I can just always hear you. I feel like I could make a series out of running from this guy. It's also very copyright friendly that your music only runs for a couple seconds and usually while I'm talking. I'm really just a huge John Carpenter fan in general. Like, all of his movies are so different from each other, but, like, they're united in how different they are. now that we're here, that we're seeing how interactive this map really is. I really like how this NPC is designed to, like, stalk. I've got to try you on other maps. So what happens if I try and get a better angle? Actually, what I should do is try and make a break for it. You know what? That's what I should do. Just get out of here. I wonder if you need line of sight or if you always know where I am at all times. Can we get a closer look at you? Of course, only a little. Luckily, I managed to flag down a bus. And I'm not quite sure I like where it dropped me off. See, look, it's the flickering light to comedically emphasize my horrible predicament. But you know what? Brick buildings, dusty old windows, and the orange glow of sodium vapor lights. What am I talking about? This is perfect. This is a perfect Halloween trick-or-treat spot. And after all, trick-or-treating is kind of like the Postal Service. It doesn't care about bad weather or bad vibes. Hungry? Try SSRIs. See, this poster gets it. Gotta make the best of a bad situation. So, let's have a look around. GM Lurkwood. Oh wow, this is like a much less friendly version of GM Nightlight. It's sort of bright on the streets, but I don't know, in a sporadic way that streetlights have that makes you feel more like you're being watched or followed than anything. Somehow there's no safety in it. At least you don't think there is until you step off the path and realize there's even less safety in the darkness. So, let's just invade someone's home. I mean, you could always just say it's like a The Strangers related prank. Okay. Luckily I caught a glimpse of that mirror before I stepped all the way in. Huh. This place is pretty dense, but pretty cozy as well. Hey there, you. Oh, that familiar face finds its way into every little nook and cranny of my night, hasn't it? Hey, you! You startled me more than the guy across the street. This is a diabolical view. Oh, no, don't think you're not coming with me. I know I can't let you out of my sight because this whole place feels like the, I don't know, industrial version of GM Shambles. There you go. At least this map isn't playing that ambiance. Wow, you really do not want to cooperate tonight. You know, I always talk about how I like rooms in a house and not just one big open space. This feels like something that was designed specifically to defeat that mindset. Look at these walls. It's like a toy house. What are these, like 1 unit wide and hammer? Unclipped stairs? No railings. This is like my anti-house. And a dark room with a mirror. Wait, no. Of course we've got to do this. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. Just a stupid game for children anyway. Bare walls of this peeling paint make it feel like I'm in an abandoned building even if the lights are on. Oh, hey, no, wait, you didn't tell me the person who lived here was based. Look at this, Cry of Fear poster. I gotta get one of those for my room. And they screw around on the internet and in Hammer just like I do. We're even doing meta jokes. That is crazy. Hang on, what's that on the ground there? Vanished into thin air. Family of 4 missing. Well, you're not going to help anybody find them by blanking out their faces. Good job. Open up. Oh, hey, look at that. The parents finally pushed the beds together. Literally. But where else are we going? Hang on, wait. Get out of the way, please. There's simply no other solution to this problem than to destroy your furniture entirely. That's an open door across the street. What the heck? Oh, and there's just urban buildings overlooking us. I sure as heck didn't open that. What? Hang on, let's get down there. I'm not gonna lie, doing that whole bit in there felt genuinely spooky. Like, I felt like there was something in the room with me, and now I kind of feel like there's something in the game with me. Which might, if anything, sound like a bit of a de-escalation, but that's not the point. Which of you was it? Wait, is this an openable gate? It's not. There's a void back here. And you... Wait, are these doors not open anymore? No, you are. Oh. No, you go into nothing. Wait, okay, I think no clip is justified here. Whoa! I was really expecting that to become a whole thing there. Speaking of a whole thing, we've got another open house. That graffiti on the wall said one way in. Wait, what? What is going on here? Something's not right. Hang on, It's the family from the newspaper. Oh, this is spooky. Oh, we had a good find with this map. Let's go. Oh, we don't need the flashlight for this. A garage. And another staircase upward. Okay, so I guess we can't open this. Hang on, things have gone all liminal on me here. Very liminal. None of this makes any sense. No way. First, we gotta check these other doors. An office. And it looks like some of the monitors have been thrown from their desks. There's a lot of ways to go. A lot of ways to go. Hang on. I can't keep myself straight. Okay. We're just going to take this one at a time, and we're going to take this by discovery. And this is kind of making me want to dance. Just something about it that feels jazzy, you know? Kind of makes me want to take a walk under the sycamore trees. There's no one here, not right now. But I think I'll see this place again in 25 years. We had a choice of our own journey back there. I had no idea just how consequential that intersection would be. Something over here. An endless convenience store. For some reason, I had never considered the idea of drinks on such tall shelves, which is weird because I've been to Costco. And they're not equidistant either. Like, they actually vary in distance apart. It's a good thing somebody's already been through here, because I would have never thought to try opening one of these glass doors. Are any of them real? Hey, game, map, what's that back there? Somehow the real convenience store, all shadowy and claustrophobic, is so much worse than the nightmare one. Hang on. This feels like a time where I could use the safety Glock. Well, hey there. What is this place? Wait, that building. We're back out on the streets. It deposited us back. I'm just going to assume that none of these doors will open. No. Tesco Express. Ethically sourced. Ah, here we are. Yeah, they are puppies. Baked in store every day. Why are you putting that alongside an image of puppies? This car doesn't look parked. It looks more like it's lying in wait. Port Lane, LW2, City of Lurkwood. Introduce players to the idea that something isn't right, and then immediately after, hit them with a sledgehammer following the subtlety. Either way, this is definitely supposed to be the UK from the look of it. And I don't think we can enter any of these houses. Let's explore the streets a little bit more before we try to move in and do the rest of those doorways. Do any of these doors teleport us? No. That's a bloodstain. Like somebody jumped and they moved the body, but didn't do any other cleaning. Either that, or they got up and walked away on their own. There doesn't seem to be anything back here. Oddly enough, these painted lines are actually 3D brushes. Which is a bit of a strange choice. I mean, it looks kind of cool. Meanwhile, this street just ends right in the wall there. Can't walk through either. It's completely solid. It's literally just an image of, like, trees on a mountain. There's not even an attempt to make it look fitting. I'm really worried I'll see somebody standing up there when I pass by this building. Okay, we need to make our way down the rest of the street before we can move on. The front windows of that place are boarded up. Wait, there's some graffiti back there. This whole map just has a feeling like you're holding your breath, waiting for something to happen. Like maybe you've seen what was going to happen in a dream, but you can't quite recall what that something was. No through road. Wait, there's something over there. A door across the way. Oh, there's a whole canal below us, deep and wide. I don't think there's any getting over there. All these row homes, it looks very, very old. Like this place definitely has seen some things. You can get into their backyard. Doesn't seem to be anything special about this lot here. I think I may have jumped the gun. I think I was probably meant to discover that a little bit later than I did. It definitely would have caught me more off guard. I could swear I could see a face. I can definitely see a face and the full outline of a head in just the leaves of the trees under that streetlight. Right there behind the rooftop. Do you guys see it too? I don't know if you'll be able to. You know, when it comes to dream logic in games, I've really started to be a big fan of things that start off normally and kind of blend where the dream actually begins. It really adds to the sort of horrifying confusion when you don't know just where things started to go wrong. Doesn't seem that we can get in there, nor in there. So we've got two different ways to try, one of which is going to be the back door through the offices. And I'm just really paranoid about these cubicles, that something is going to pop up at any given moment, that I'll look across the office and see a dark silhouette look at me, and then duck down behind the walls. Oh. Yeah, no, this is where Jimmy the intern has to work. You gotta rise through the ranks in this company. Nobody gets a ride for free. Anyway, what about that other door then? It says exit. Do we trust? Do we have a choice? You claim exit. There's that symbol again. And this chair cannot be moved. I feel very much as if I'm being baited into a jump scare right now. That smiley face has been reused all over. It's actually kind of starting to become iconic of this map, or whatever's going on here. Like a friendly but malicious face that watches my every move. It's like the bright sunlit version, a fantasy of the streets we were on before. I've really come to love the idea of surprise liminality. Even just that one extra step in a map, having us discover it from relative normalcy, actually does a lot to enhance the feeling of it. Because it doesn't feel like it's being presented to you in the context of a liminal map. It feels like it's something you've happened onto, something involuntarily. And back around to here. Oh, there was another door here. I didn't even see you. Look at that. A little creator gallery. Okay, I guess we're entitled to a meme room. Dude, that was so cool. I mean, I don't even know if it was intentional or just reusing an asset, but the idea of seeing that on the floor and then ending up in a spooky place where the same image is posted on the wall, I don't know, it's a cool way of imparting meaning without actually giving us any context or idea of what's going on. Now, back to this. Oh. Well, technically we're going upward, right? So we won't take any fall damage? Ooh. Oh my god! Ah. There are apocalyptic maps, there are haunted maps, there are those that seem abandoned or degraded in a dreamlike way like Silent Hill. But there's something so deeply disturbing to me about a map that is otherwise fairly grounded, if a bit atmospheric. That is extremely normal until you have one little look right around the corner. And once you do, it all starts to fall apart in a big hurry. So, with this little detour on our night, I think it's time we moved on to the next. They say it's darkest before the dawn, and I can think of no place where that's more true than when you reach the asylum and cry of fear. And now some wretched soul is taking it upon themselves to port this map to Gary's mod. And just look how imposing this building is, so simple, and yet sitting there barely illuminated by the streetlights in front of it and otherwise totally in darkness. In a game that's so full of memorable environments, this one has always stood out as probably the most terrifying and my favorite stylistically. It's one of the scariest games I've ever played, but as is usually the case with survival horror games, over time you build up an arsenal of weapons and better equipment. You sort of learn how to deal with the enemies, and even if you never fully stop being scared, you do gain the confidence to do what you need to do, and eventually start to feel at least somewhat powerful among the horrors. And this is the level that takes all of that away from you. Caught in a train crash, losing all of the equipment you've accumulated throughout the game, running through the woods, and now far away from the city lights that you hadn't even realized were providing so much comfort until you're plunged into darkness. You think you can take some shelter in the forest in this building here, but of course, there's nothing but the silence and the scant light from the few streetlights in front barely illuminating its surface, but showing you the dark windows staring down at you. For the first time, the only light we have is that which we bring with us. And that's why this is the part that, once you've grown so powerful, serves just before the end to remind you what fear is. So let's see if we're welcome here. Oh, right. There is the one light just above the elevator. Look at this, the graffiti on the walls, the peeling paint. I think what I love so much about this map is how much it reminds me of the real urban exploration I've done. Because it's realistically empty. It feels like a hollow shell, and something about that and the atmospherics of the game just allow you to feel how cold it is. So let's explore around. Huh. Whenever we get near the windows, we can just barely hear the patter of rain outside. But other than that, in our footsteps, it's totally silent. See, this is why I've chosen to go with the lantern instead of the flashlight. It's so much more eerie when this is all we've got, when we're just a little bubble of light and safety, surrounded by darkness and no idea what could come at us from any direction. And for the most part, it's nothing, but in the game, you can hear those unearthly howls muffled from somewhere in the building. It looks like this was at one time a bathroom or showers. All these doorways jutting into the hall, more foreground to catch on our light as we press forward. Seriously, it may just be for a source mod video game, or not even source. I believe it was actually made in the Gold Source engine. But this is probably among the most realistic abandonments I've ever explored in a game. And I don't even know if that was their intention. It kind of makes me wonder if it's based off of a real place. There's a light in here, but I'm not entirely sure as to the source. Guess I shouldn't worry about it too much. I don't remember if there's 2 or 3 floors to explore, but there is also the basement, if I remember rightly. Unfortunately, the elevator seems to be out of order. When we come to the few windows that aren't boarded, we at least get a little bit of light from outside. It's kind of curious that a place like this would still have at least exterior power, although that doesn't seem to extend to the building itself. A place like this, off in the middle of the woods, so secluded. Did you hear that? I swear I just heard like a distant howl. My God. Oh, I didn't know if this map was going to do that, but it was undoubtedly the creepiest part of the map. The sounds of the ghostly wailing of the insane who should have long ago vacated this place. And that's the thing about Cry of Fear. Even though this is a very realistic environment in my experience, this game was never trying to be realistic. It's meant to be representative of the images and associations with mental health struggles and all manner of other just urban modern horrors. We come in here and it's almost silent, save for that echoing down the corridors in a way that you really can't determine where it's coming from. For all you know, it's coming straight from the past. Or out of the darkness at you. You just never know. Alright, let's make our way upstairs then. Perhaps save the basement for last? The closer we get to the roof, the more heavy we can hear that rain. But oddly enough, I can't hear the screaming anymore. It's the bareness of it, the emptiness that gets me. Being able to see the glint of the rain caught in the streetlights outside is actually some small comfort, but man, it's so real I can practically smell the mold and dust and asbestos. You just know that this is the kind of place that requires a respirator. Now I believe there is the gate that leads up to the attic. I wonder if it can be opened in this map? No, it doesn't seem so. Oh, there we go. Nothing here, and it doesn't seem that we can peek across the way. Oh, look, here we are. Here, we can peek across the way. It doesn't seem like we can actually use the telescope, although maybe in flat screen we can, because I am getting some controller vibrations as I put my hand over it. And I can just faintly hear that wailing again. Well, let's go looking once more. I don't quite remember then. How did we get to the attic? Oh, right, no. I think we just take that center staircase to the attic. I couldn't quite remember. I am actually legitimately tense because, I mean, even though it came across in the game itself, this just feels real. It feels so similar to the real exploration that I've done, and I cannot ignore that fact because every associated feeling is coming to me right now. And if we didn't find anyone on the first floor, we're bound to find them here, right? The person who ported this map wouldn't have hidden any jump scares, would they? No. They just... Sounds like it's right through this room. I get the vague notion that something really, really bad happened in this room. I think what makes the asylum so spine-chilling is how different it is from the rest of the game up until this point. It's a different kind of fear. Because until now, it has not exactly been subtle when it comes to the way these things come at us. The story is another story, but, you know, a lot of the time it's been fighting monsters in the streets. And so when you get here, and at first it's practically nothing, except for you exploring this cold, dark, empty place with nothing but the sound of the rain and the wind in your footsteps. It catches you off guard. You're not used to the silence by then. Even now, I swear I keep seeing things. I'm actually sweating exploring this for how real it feels. Okay, so, right, if I remember rightly, out here is the fire escape, which we can use to drop down into another room. Actually, I believe a psycho breaks through that door in the game, and that's when you start actually getting enemies here. Yep. So there must be a way out through here we go. Back to the first floor. So now we have to decide, do we want to do the basement or the attic first? Well, the attic was our goal in the game, so let's try for the basement. Well, from the feel of it, there's no vibrations, so I'm guessing we can't. But just look at this. Just take this in for a second. I think this is the brilliance of having us use a lantern here. I think we can get a flashlight. I think our phone is dead by then. But now when you're just pushing into the darkness, it makes it feel so oppressive, like you've been swallowed, like you've been buried alive. It's supposed to be the darkest moment of the game when you've all but given up hope. I mean, it's supposed to feel so triumphant when you're on the train and getting out of the city, but by the time you arrive here, there's no chance of hope. You have no equipment, you have none of the confidence you've developed, and it just feels like you want to crawl into a corner and give up. And it only makes sense, right? In a game that's about mental health struggles, that's about depression and all these other things, when you're running aimlessly through the woods and end up here, you of course feel like there's no choice but to take the only refuge available, but at the same time, you feel it staring you down like they've got you just where they wanted you this whole time. So let's come all the way to the top and try and open this door, which it seems we can't do. Actually, I do have the ability to touch this thing right here, but nothing seems to be happening, so I don't know, maybe we can find it? Let's just have a peek to see if we can. It does not seem so. You know, we've gotten pretty spooked tonight, but this is probably the most on edge I've been, like genuinely tense and sweating. I just haven't wanted to move forward, and I'm so glad, though somewhat unsurprised, that the most tense part of the game is even more so in VR. And I'm so glad they preserved the sounds as well. Back there is our ultimate goal. Although I can't really see much. Wow, the effect is actually present here in VR. I put down the lantern and my eyes can adjust to what's in front of me, at least enough to make out the faint reflections of that streetlight off of the walls. Now, in the main game, we had to fight the doctor in order to get that key, but being that this is just a map, and we have the God Tools of Gary's mod, we may as well, after giving it one try, it will not open. Just kind of no-clip through and get out of here. And you know, in some ways, after going through all these horrors, coming out the back can be seen both literally and figuratively as a release. Like we're ready to move on. Or like we've been through the system's digestive tract. All depends on how you look at it. But once more into the woods. Oh wow, that's pretty. So that's that. I guess we've made it through another Halloween night. And what a night it was. I don't believe it. Everything seems to ramp up, reaches a fever pitch on October 31st. And then on November 1st, the very next morning, it's like it all just stops. I spent this whole month, exploring the woods and watching horror movies and seeing what kind of creepy and comfy shenanigans I can get up to. I guess I'll just go sit over here on the beach and watch the sunrise. That looks like a good log to sit on. Well, I may not have spent as much time at the actual party as I would have liked, but from what I've heard, it seems everyone there was having fun. I don't think that kid ever came back and killed them all, and if they did, well, Rat's the one who rented the place, so there's no paper trail leading back to me. All in all, I'd say it was a pretty good Halloween. What a difference one day makes. The enormous gulf between October 31st and November 1st. There was such a sense of momentum leading up to the day. I spent that whole time trying to live my life as creepily and as comfortably as possible. And now that it's November 1st, what do I do with myself? All I can think is to explore the woods and watch scary movies and play creepy games, maybe commentate over them, upload a video about once a day. Well, I guess things don't actually have to change that much. Not if we don't want them to. In a way, these specials feel so much like the holiday itself. There's a sense of urgency, of pressure to make it perfect, when really all we needed was to concentrate what we love in the first place. That thing that no one is stopping us from enjoying year-round, and so why should we? Oh, how cool is that? Look, the wind blows, and the trees actually sway alongside it, in time with it. So there was one more cool surprise in store for tonight. I really want to wish you all a happy and safe Halloween, and if you do get axe murdered, well, please just try not to have any social media history that would link back to me so that I can be implicated. It's not my fault. That's the main takeaway. But yeah, happy Halloween to all of you, or whenever you decide to watch this, because this video isn't going anywhere. There's no obligation to watch it then. I don't believe in missing out. That's the whole thing. These videos are here to stay. You can go back and watch any of the previous years at any time, and there's just no pressure, because pressure ruins the comfy side of creepy and comfy. Of course, the pressure of being chased by a chainsaw-wielding maniac, yeah, maybe then you want to feel a little bit of urgency. But with another year behind us, if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try any of these maps out for yourself, those links will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.